I'm about to go off like a weapon. Fuel to the top, got a filled up engine. In my thoughts, obsession. I will not stop, no, I'm never second guessing. I got a God complex. Haters love to hate, but I never feel pressed. Got a lot on my plate, but I never get stressed. I'll take all the pressure like I'm acing this test. Tear it up like I'm Jason. I see the world like it's ready for the taking. I see this place like a game I'm playing. Straight to the bank to collect my payments. No negotiations, it's my way, I was born impatient. And like a damn Freemason, I'll run this nation. They call me a god. 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 I don't know how to stop. I just go till I drop. Whether it's working or shots, give it all that I got. You can watch me work in my element. Anyone in the way is irrelevant. You wanna cross me, cool, not intelligent. Cause I don't forget shit like an elephant. Go ahead and tempt me, put it on the line and you'll come up empty. If I got time, I'm deadly. Never caught off guard, no, I'm always ready. I got a hand real steady. Look me in the eye and you'll see no hezzy. About to get real messy. I'll put you in a grid 6 feet like Kenny.
This video is brought to you by the 9% and is powered by Petty Vision Productions. Now sit back and enjoy the show.
I wake up every minute with the fever dreams. I push my mind to a limit where it needs to be. I work blind, got vision I don't need to see. I'm picking mind over matter, I believe in me. I need to find more hours in the day to breathe. Need to find more power in the way I be. And when my mind turns sour with the painful scenes, I need to scream out loud, I can't stop me. I wanna be the greatest like Rocky. You know I leave them all hating like a hobby. I'm out here making moves like a lobby. And if you ain't with me, it's your loss. See, I got my mind on the facts, I'm a python, grab what I like real fast. Choke until I have everything I attack, everything that I lack, everything that I want, and I see, matter of fact. Cause I'm my own worst enemy. Only if I let it be. I can control anything if I can just think carefully. I control my destiny. Deep up in my mind I manifest it. Every morning I wake up obsessed and everything I do the best. And deep within my mind you know I'll always manifest it.
What up, though? It's the word. You see the title? We're going to talk about it. But first, let me get into the chat. E-Money in the building. Hey, the number one uno with these beats on this YouTube thing. Y'all better check out E-Money. What up, bro? Appreciate you. Antisocial in the building. What up, Nine? What up, sis? Hey, today is I got to change the title. We're going to talk about it, but I'm doing a giveaway too. But I got to change the title because when I was putting it together, this was off a whim. And I had a vision last night and I was told to talk about this. But after talking to Tay, and, you know, Tay always asks questions, you know, I'm going to explain this from a metaphysical, anatomical aspect, right? But when we say Christ consciousness, we use the term often because it's a biblical term, right? Discernment. And I'm going to explain the difference between intuition and discernment because there's a level of consciousness you have to have discernment. That's not just something you gifted or given, or it's something that I believe you develop. Maybe you are born with it. But it's a level, is a way of thinking. So, and it's components that have to go together, and it mixes in with the philosophy of the word, right? E, what up? E, appreciate you, sis. Appreciate you. So it goes with the philosophy that I'm teaching also. So, look, man, I'm trying to get y'all there without giving y'all all what I'm about to give y'all tonight. I don't have slides, but I am planning on doing a lecture. I did a lecture on this 12 years ago. I did oh, dang, man, I'm old. I did a lecture on this in 2009. So, yeah, 2009. So, yeah, a while back I did a lecture on it. I'm trying to find that video. It's actually on CD. I don't have it. My boy, well, former friend got it. I ain't gonna say associate, I guess. We cool. I just gotta find his number. So I'm gonna try to get that, but I'm gonna do a brand new lecture because over those years I got more understanding, more information. So tonight, what we talking about tonight is what they call the holy oil, right? The Christ oil, or Chism, CHRISM. And I'm giving y'all footnotes, right? I'm not gonna break it down, because when I do, I'm gonna get into the Bible, I'm gonna get into metaphysics, I'm gonna get into science, biology. I'm gonna get into all of, like in a lecture, I'm gonna break it all down. I'm gonna even break down the metaphysical aspects of the Bible. So I'm still working on the Discord, but y'all know we about to open something. We've been talking about creating a sector, so look out for that. But we do have a Discord. It's not open to the public yet. I'm getting that together. But when I do, I'm gonna be holding lectures in there. We're gonna have different resources in there for people. And also, I'm thinking about starting a Patreon, because I, like Tay just told me, Ansis Intrinsic. She said, sometimes the way I'm teaching, she said she feel like I'm supposed to be teaching the teachers, like the people who come and teach other people. That's what I'm supposed to be teaching. So I'm gonna listen to sis. So I'm gonna do some things a little different, even with the information, right? But we're gonna talk about this holy oil. What is the holy oil? And I'm gonna explain it through. I'm gonna give you understandings of the Bible. I'm gonna give you some concepts from philosophy. And it's not even philosophy. I'm gonna give you some occult science, right? And how they incorporated it into the Bible. So when we talk about the holy oil or the Christ oil, the word Christ itself means anointed one, right? So when you look at what Christ was anointed with, he was anointed with oil when he was baptized, right? He was anointed with oil, or the holy oil. But this is where you get the olive oil from the olive branch. With the metaphysical aspect of that, I'm gonna get into it in the lecture. But so I'm just giving footnote. Okay, so the olive branch. This is the holy oil. So what this is what they call CSF, right? This one I wouldn't go get into it. But when you research in the Christ oil, some people say it comes from the claustrum. So this is where you get Santa Claus from. There's a whole metaphysical aspect of that. But this oil, they say it comes from the medulla oblongata. It don't. What it is spinal fluid. But it's the process that it goes through that creates the Christ oil. So the process that goes through when it comes from your cerebral cortex, from your brain, it goes through the pineal gland and it goes through the pituitary gland before it goes down through your spine, right? And the significance of that is when they say the land of the milk and honey. So when it goes through the pineal gland, the pineal gland is charged up, right? The pineal gland is the charge, the energy is the positive. So when it goes through the pineal gland, it's a nerve attached to the pineal gland. And what that nerve is my bad. What that what the nerve is the pingula is the pingula nerve. And when that fluid goes through the pingula nerve, that fluid turns gold, right? That's the honey. Now, when it goes through the pituitary gland, It's a nerve attached to that called the ida. And when it goes through that nerve, it turns white, right? So the story of Christ is a metaphysical story. People take it literal, but when I say metaphysical, I'm about to give you the story. So once the fluid goes through that, the pineal gland represents Joseph, the father, right? Mary represents the pituitary gland. So when those two fluids go down into the solar plex, which is where the seed, so if you think of God sending his only begotten son, the seed of God, the seed of consciousness, the seed is Christ. So the seed goes down into the solar plex. And if you look at the skeletal structure where the solar plex is, it looks like a manger, right? The rib cage and then the back part of the rib cage come down and close the back up, and then the spinal cord. It looks like a manger, so the seed sits in the manger. And as the fluid descends down into the manger, it gives life to that seed. Now that seed is the seed of Christ, or the seed of God, right? And every moon cycle, this seed is created, just like women have menstrual cycles. Prayers, what up, though? Gary, what up, though? Hey, Shoes in the building. Appreciate you. Miss Tracy, what up, though? My bad. I was cooking and I just looked up. Bronze in the building. What up, brother? Appreciate you. I apologize. So now that seed is getting energized by these two fluids, by the milk and honey, right? So the fluids from the father and the mother gives birth or gives life to the seed. Happens every time your moon, your moons, you're in your sun and moon cycle. So every 3.5 days within the astrology, whatever your sun sign is, your moon sign correlates with the sun, or comes into the sun, comes into the cycle of the sun. Just like women have menstrual cycles every month. That I don't know if it's correlated with your moon cycle, but the moon represents the fluids. Like even on Earth, the moon has control of the waves or the water. Same thing in our body, but the seed is created in the cycle. This is why people practice semen retention, because you can release that fluid outwardly through, ejaculation, or you can harvest that seed and allow this process to occur, right? So these two fluids, bam, they go into the solar plexus, they energize the seed. Now, when it does that, the fluid goes into the sacrum. The sacrum coxon is the last bone in your vertebrae, right? You have 33 vertebrae in your spinal cord. The sacrum is the last one. Now, that seed, that oil, that's where the sacred oil is in the sacrum. Now, when they talk about kundalini, when you look at a staff, you look at the medical staff, right? You see the two snakes going up and down the staff. Think of those two oils coming together, or those two fluids coming together into the solar plexus, down into the sacrum, energizing and charging. That's when it becomes oil when they combine. Then it rises back up. So now, as that fluid is rising back up, it has to go up those 33 vertebrae, right? So the fluids carry the seed. Now, this is when you go Google this, they go tell you some crazy shit. Like the fluid carries the seed up into the pineal gland. That's not what it does. The seed, think of the seed not as a physical seed, right? It's not a physical seed. You don't have a seed growing in your body. Oh, man. But this is how they teach you, right? But no, I'm just being real. It's not a physical seed, right? It's a spiritual, or is an oil. Is the actual, my understanding is the actual fluid that when it comes, when the two fluids come together, it combines and create another fluid. So think of that combined fluid as the seed, right? It's not a physical seed, but I don't want y'all to say, well, how does seed go and where it go? Because when the fluid goes back up to 33, this is why they say Jesus Christ got crucified at 33. What happens is you get two ventricles in your brain, the third and fourth ventricle. Now those ventricles are venagal vessels, right? So it sits in these two areas where the nerves are. Whereas it's told you, the ganglion nerve and the ida nerve. One connects to the pineal gland, the other one that connects to the pituitary gland, and it sits there for 3.5 days. So the crucifixion is these oils going up, back up through the spine, separating. That's the crucifixion. One goes left, the other one goes right. That's the crucifixion. And it takes 3.5 days for it to shoot up into the pineal gland. Now, if you know anything about the pineal gland, they tell you it's calcified. Those are crystals. They say, oh, you have to decalcify. This is the process. It's not really decalcifying. Is what it is when that fluid hits those crystals, you are now enlightened. Those crystals light up. So when you see the Masonic, like if you look on the back of your dollar, you'll see an eye, right? And you'll see it within a triangle. That triangle represents mind, body, and soul. That eye represents your pineal gland. Once you connect mind, body, and soul, you awaken the pineal gland. That's the all-seeing eye. That's the eye that sees on the physical and or in the spiritual plane. Once your pineal gland is open, that's what the representation is. So this whole process is truly nothing but third eye awakening. This is the process of waking up your third eye. It's just told in a formula or in a occult sense. But the dope thing is, all this is in the Bible. It's all in the Bible. It's told in stories, metaphors, allegories. You just read it literal, you know. Was there a person named Jesus of Nazareth walking this earth? No, there was never a person named Jesus. Yeshua, yeah, I believe that. Yahshua, I believe that. But Jesus is a Greek created name. It is. And if you understand translation and transliteration, you understand. And even the Hebrews, this is why you got to look at history. Like when you start looking at the Council of Nicene, and when you're talking about Jesus the Christ or Yeshua the Christ, I believe that, yeah, because Christ was the title, and they had this understanding on how to reach that level of consciousness. So there was many Christs or many Messiahs or many enlightened ones. You know, there was many of them. Buddha was one of them. You know that a man walked the earth named Buddha? I don't know, but it was a story told about him. You got enlightened ones walking around now, right? But see, this is the thing. Like people, this is just the physical aspect, right? This is a physical aspect. Now, when you're talking about Kundalini or chakra system, that's another aspect you have to combine. Like I said, it's not just the one physical aspect. You have to do it mentally and spiritually. That's literally the physical aspect of it. So now you got to talk about the Kundalini or the chakra system. That's another aspect. All these different belief systems, they got pieces of the puzzle. Because it's a conscious. Like, so even when you talk about accepting Jesus Christ, accepting the Christ, you have to accept it to even receive it. And that's a mental battle. That's a conscious effort to accept, not just, I mean, we say Jesus, but accept the Christ. Would you accept it? If someone came, think about what Jesus did. He came and he gave discernment, basically. He took everything that God said and simplified it. Everything that was in the Bible, he simplified it for people, right? But did he really simplify it, or did he make it right? Because there was a lot of murder, kill in the Old Testament. God wasn't Jesus-like at all. God wasn't merciful. God wasn't, he was flooding and playing games with Job, and he was doing a whole bunch of crazy stuff. God was, in the Bible, you can explain whatever you want, but God was like a narcissist or a psychopath. Eye for an eye. I'm the only God. If you do this, God was tripping, right? But Jesus came down and was like, no, man, peace and love. Let's hug some trees. You know, I'm going to help some blind people. Y'all hungry? I got y'all. Don't worry about it. Hey, man, we only got water. Y'all ready to party? Yeah, Jesus was like, hey, man, look, we're going to live life. We're going to have fun. We're going to enjoy it. And we're going to treat each other right. Right? That's what Jesus came down and did. Look, we can have fun and enjoy life by treating each other right. It's not hard. Love thy neighbor. You know, just love them. You know, if somebody slap you on one cheek, hey man, hey, here's another one. You know, that's Jesus came down doing that. So if someone came and updated what Jesus told you, would you even believe it? Would you accept it? Would you accept Christ? Would you accept it? They got y'all looking outside for things that's inside. They got you looking for people to come save you when you're supposed to save yourself. You know, it's cool to look in the past. Like for me, all this stuff is cool, right? It gives you awareness, it gives you understanding. But at the end of the day, it's still you have to do the work. You have to observe. You have to learn for yourself. You can only use that as a guide, if anything, a template. All the stuff from the past, it's cool to look up and know, but not really. A lot of it don't translate. A lot of it ain't helping us now. What's helping us now? Let's talk. Let's get into that. So raising our consciousness, that's what's helping. You know, like I have conversations with people, like that one dude came in a chat, and he, to me, it's like all box conversation. You're telling me I got a choice between this and that, and I'm telling you I can define both of them. I can redefine them. No, I don't have to accept anything that's already here. I can create whatever I want. That's how we evolve, by creating things or making things better. So no, I don't have to accept no old way when I can create a new way. We need more people to think like that versus trying to do what they did in the past. Look, they did it. It's done. Okay, let's use that as a template to see what we can do now. See how we can make it better. That's one way of raising your level of consciousness, is to think for your damn self. Think for yourself. Learn how to observe. Take the time out to study. Work that muscle. That's all the brain is a muscle. If you don't work any muscle in your body, work your brain. Work it. I'm not biz that. But so we are doing a giveaway. I don't know. I don't see Commander in here. That's probably who will win it all. But I don't know if y'all been paying attention, but I gave the answers, right? I already gave all the answers. So hopefully y'all wrote them down. So the first question, right, is how old was I when when I don't even know how to word it. Okay, so how old was I when I stopped being ticklish? I told a story about why and how old I was, why I'm not ticklish no more. So D Shep in the building, what up, Shep? Do anybody remember that story? It's on the live with the violin, with the dude holding the violin. But I'm gonna lay that there and look for the answer. I just need the age. Too old? Nah, I wasn't too old. But yeah, I'm doing a Cash App giveaway. I gave out the answers. So if you was paying attention and taking notes, you will know there's a Cash App giveaway. How old was I when I wasn't ticklish no more? PIA is in the building. What up, sis? Appreciate you. So the question is, how old was I when I wasn't ticklish no more? I would even take for the answer. Well, I just told you. I think I just told you. No, I can't take that. Yeah, how old was I? Nope, close, PIA. Close, Gary. Oh, I didn't told y'all the answer. I'm gonna have to tell the story behind it too. Nope. 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 I ain't saying close or hot no more. PIA got it. I was 7 years old. So on my 7th birthday, my auntie tickled me so bad I peed on myself. and I was so embarrassed, and I was never ticklish again. Yeah, she tickled me that bad I peed on myself. PIA, I believe I have your Cash App. Sweet touch, right? Yeah. Okay. You answered it right and then answered it wrong, but you got it right the first time also. Okay, so this is the big one, right? This is the big one. What was my childhood address? I give you a hint. It's 3 numbers. I can't tell you the combination. That's the only hint I can give you. But it's 3 numbers. I know Commander go get this one because she said she wrote it down. This gonna be funny. And it's 3 numbers, so 0 through 9, I guess. But you got to get the right combination. Oh, you get this one right, you're gonna be like, okay, this is the big one. 3 numbers. Well, why y'all guessing that? Let's get into the and yeah, the 9 can't play because I already told them the answer. $43.48. I stayed at 40. Prez, I ain't gonna say you close. I say you got 1 number in the right spot. I ain't gonna tell you which number, but you got 1 number in the right spot. I give you one more clue. If you got to get them in the right combination, but if you add all 3 numbers up, it adds up to 6. You got to add all 3 numbers up and it add up to 6. I think that, and it's 3 numbers. It's only 3 numbers, but when you add it together, it adds up to 6. Y'all gonna let PIA get it. I say this, PIA is very close. Hey, sure, you got 1 number right in there. Man, look, I hate to give y'all this clue. Prez, if you don't get it, I just gave you the biggest clue. Prez, you got the biggest clue. I told you have 1 number in the right spot, but PIA about to get it. I'm telling y'all, she about to get it. That's all I'm gonna say. There's only a couple more combinations. $231. Y'all let PIA get it again. I told y'all she had it. It was just a couple combinations off. $231 Baker Street. All right, last one. Now, this one is, I'm gonna have to give you 2 clues. This gonna be funny though. What county was I born in? Now I gave y'all the answers. Y'all didn't write them down, but I have to give you this because it's too hard. It's an animal and it starts with a B. It's an animal and it starts with a B, but it's the county I was born in. Hey, you keep winning. Take each y'all. Board, nope. Board County. It's in. Look, this is another clue. It's in Pennsylvania. Beat. What was the first one? 10, 15? Okay. They got it. PIA got it. I ain't lying. Beaver County, Pennsylvania. That's where I was born at. Beaver County, Pennsylvania. Home team. Hey, PIA just did a clean sweep on y'all. PIA just did a clean sweep while I'm in PA now. Yeah, I'm from Aliquippa. It's a little small town outside of Pittsburgh, but I was born in Beaver County. No, that was the giveaway. Actually, I had more, but my wife spent it. I was supposed to give out $100 today, but yeah, my wife spent it. So, but yeah, we're gonna do another giveaway. That was fun. We're gonna play. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put all the answers. I'm gonna let y'all know what episode or what show is gonna be in, but I'm gonna make a thumbnail of the answer and I'm gonna flash it. I'm gonna hold it on the screen for a minute. And then I'm gonna take it down. So that's how we gonna do the giveaway. And I'm gonna try to do that every couple months. But yeah, that was fun. You know, I appreciate y'all. I do. I really do appreciate y'all. Y'all don't know how much y'all everybody, not only with the super chats, but especially with the cash apps. Y'all hooked brother up. Y'all done got me a lot of equipment. Y'all support me. At least that's the least I can do. I'm probably gonna do a little smaller one, and get that wheel through Nightbot and just put people on it. I'm gonna think of something like the people who share me out or the people who comment. I'm gonna do a different giveaway every month. See, I'm gonna put the people on there who are active, supporting the channel. So I'm gonna do a small giveaway on that. But then we go do the big giveaways. But I'm gonna try to make that at least $100 a month. I was trying to wait till I get remonetized, but we good. I got to make a new money drop because I do get donations. I ain't been hitting the drop, but I appreciate y'all. And half the time I don't even know until after the show over anyway. But yeah, so that was fun. But yeah, so look forward to that. We go do another giveaway. I'm gonna have a fun way to do it. I think that's fun. Y'all get to know me. I'm gonna ask questions about the content. There's gonna be questions about me personally. So y'all get to know me a little bit more. Like I said, I don't really mind. I ain't got no criminal record, and getting doxxed and none of that. I don't really care about none of that. I ain't hiding from nobody in real life. I ain't about to hide from nobody on here. Pittsburgh, huh? I spent 3 years in Youngstown, Ohio for work. Hated you met. I got people in Youngstown. I got people in Cleveland. I got people so they didn't quite make it to Michigan, but some of my family started migrating this way. We just came all the way to Detroit. They stopped in Ohio. But yeah, I got family down there. I used to go travel when I only boxed for a year, not even a full year, but I traveled down to that Crunk gym in Toledo a couple times. It was like a satellite gym. It wasn't really, but yeah, I didn't spend time in Youngstown. Oh, no problem, PIA. No problem. I appreciate you, sis. I appreciate all the love and support you give. I really do. I appreciate everybody, so if I can do something to give back besides the information, I'm definitely gonna do that. But hey, you missed the whole presentation. I broke it down in probably about 10 minutes. If that. We've been rolling for 30 minutes. Yeah, I spent more. Crunk stop, man. Look, prayers. I ain't even gonna lie to you, bro. I wasn't a good boxer. I'm like, I got hit a couple times. I'm like, man, I need to use my knees and elbows. So I did it for almost a year, probably about 11 years. I think I boxed for about 11 years. I did 7 months at the Crunk, and then I did 4 at the community center. So 11 months, almost a year. I know I did 4 at the community center. I was decent. I was good. I when I was younger, I started in martial arts. So going from martial arts to boxing is totally different. Boxing is really a sweet science. Like people watch MMA and they wonder how can somebody from MMA go to boxing and get knocked out, and they ain't never been knocked out in MMA. Trust me, is even though them gloves heavier, it's a difference getting hit from a elbow or a knee, and you know it's coming, than getting hit by a punch and not seeing it coming. Them the ones that put you to sleep. Is the ones you don't see coming. It started at 8. I do Muay Thai and Wing Chun. Yeah, I do Muay Thai and Wing Chun. I just got into Wing Chun probably about 8 years ago. I've been doing Muay Thai since I was little. I started in karate, but I did Muay Thai for over 10 years. So that's probably the longest discipline I studied was Muay Thai. But I started practicing Wing Chun. And I practiced with a teacher, not in the dojo. So like the dude I practiced with, he didn't have a dojo. We was actually in his backyard and in his basement. But I mean, the dude, he won tournaments in Japan and Korea. He was a bad dude. He just, he taught it more for the love of it because he didn't really charge us. But this man, I'm telling you, I cannot touch him. That man is a bad man. Your nephew to box out of Crunk. My cousin is real cool with Tommy Hearns' family. He got pictures with Tommy Hearns. I met Tommy Hearns through him one time. But yeah, he real cool. I think it's his nephew. They real cool to hang out all the time. Yeah, tons of pictures with Tommy Hearns. Oh, I know your brother D Shup. That's what I'm saying. I'm a boxing fan. I love boxing. It's just I'm more of a martial artist. I need to use my knees and elbows. I need to use my whole body. But boxing is a sweet science, man. If you your brother, man, his in-out game his footwork was nasty, man. Yeah, Shep brother, I mean you can find YouTube clips on him. But I seen actual film and tape because a guy I grew up with, when he started boxing, he was around Shep brother. They fought on a lot of cards. He fought on cards Shep brother did. That's how I know him. That's how I know of him. And seeing him on his card, like, oh, my man, cold. Like his footwork nasty. What he did to Martin. Oh, I love boxing. It's a sweet science. It's definitely a sweet science. Martial arts, period. Is art. It's artwork. Just like your artwork, PIA. You just got an eye for art because the footwork, man, like people play boxing. Man, if you don't understand footwork, if you don't understand leverage, people don't even know how to get. I'll be watching people like hit the heavy bag, like, bro, you'll get knocked out. You don't even take your head off the line. They don't even understand the center line. And that's why I love Wing Chun, because Wing Chun, you practice, you maintain the center. In boxing, you get outside the center. But in Wing Chun is a close combat, so you maintain the center. So it's just a different philosophy, but yeah, I love martial arts. I love combat sports. Man, prayers. I did not think it was going to go down like that. But after it did, it made sense. It really made sense. Like if you look at all Spence fights, and I was telling, is a shout out to Andre. There's a dude who come through here. He got a boxing channel, Dre. I told him, I said, if the fight go past 9 rounds, I got it feeling Spence can win it. But if it go under 9, Crawford knocked him out. I said, if it go under 9 rounds, Crawford is knocking Spence out. And I told him, I said, if Crawford start going over Spence jab, it's a wrap. And I thought Spence, he didn't look like he can move, man. It just didn't look like he could move out the way. I just thought if he can wear Crawford down, it would have been nasty in the 10th, 11th round. And if he could just wore him down, and I thought it was possible. Spence got good movement, even though he fighting the box. I mean, he still got good movement. But I knew if Crawford started coming over, it was a wrap. And that's what he did. Spence kept buckling down. Spence had to stay tall behind the jab. And when he get in the pocket with him, he had to maul him. He had to be on him. And he wasn't. He was giving Crawford too much space to bend and twist. And I knew once he started coming over to the jab, it's, man, when you getting hit, I'm telling you, when you getting hit, it's hard not to I'm not gonna say buckle, but not brace for impact. It's hard, and that's what he kept doing. And every time he clinched up, bam, came right over it, came under, over, under, under. He was just like that. It was beauty. That was a good old fashioned ass whooping. I never thought I'd see Earl Spence get tagged like that. And after that, I never want to see Spence. Like once I see a fighter fight like that, I never want to see him again. I'm straight. I don't think Earl should fight no more. Because that's a hell of a blueprint Crawford then gave how to beat him. His style been exposed. It worked long as it worked, but once it get exposed and that's all you know how to do, that's like Wilder. You know, I never really want to see him box again. I don't think he should. He go fight Zhang Zhu and get knocked out by that big Asian dude. Leave that dude alone. Just retire. It's a wrap. You know, when people was afraid of the power, you was able to surprise them with it, but now they ain't afraid of it. So they just walking into you. Fury gave them the blueprint. Now they walking into you. You can't get your shots off. When they was running from you, it was all good. But yeah, everybody got a plan until they get hit in the mouth, and that's what it is. Hey, I thought you was coming up here. I broke everything down, sis. I know you missed it. But yeah, so that's the whole Christ oil too. The crucifixion, even the birth, the descent, you know, the manger story, that's in your solar plex. If you look at your rib cage, it looks like a manger. You know, and your solar plex is in the center. That's where the seed is. And when your moon come into your sun cycle, and that's what every 20 is either 27 and a half days or 29 and a half days. But every time you come to that cycle, you produce, just like women produce eggs, you know, through their menstrual cycle. You think of it like that. So everything has duality. So women produce a physical egg, but you also produce a spiritual seed or spiritual egg, if you want to call it an egg. You also, it's like, think of it as the shadow. And men are proven defective women. So even though we don't produce the egg, we still produce the seed. What up, though?
Hey, dang, you went through it fast.
I told you I was just doing the footnotes. Trust me, I probably went through 2 hours and 15 minutes. I tried to give them meat and potatoes.
In 10 minutes?
Yeah, the 10 minutes. I mean, I didn't break down the biblical aspect. I just told the anatomical. So I didn't break down like the Bethlehem, like how it travels down and show like which organ represents this. And I didn't break all that down. But then we started
What's
to
the
talk
what's
about
the
the times.
piercings represent?
The who?
The piercings.
The piercings. You talk about the crucifixion?
Yeah, what does that represent? Or does it
So
represent
the
anything?
two nerves. The nerve coming from the pineal gland, the pendula, and then the nerve coming from the pituitary gland. And the piercings, that's where the fluid sits until it's resurrected, into the pineal gland. So in those two nerves, that's where the sacred oil sits. That's what the crucifixion is as it rises back up. Even look at the staff, right? When you look at that staff, that medical staff, what happens? The serpents come to the top and split apart. And then there's one thing in the center, the ball. That's the eye. And the serpents is the seating points of the 2 points of the nerves representing each side. And once it's like, when you talk about the crucifixion, so once the seed is within the oil, It goes back up the spine, the 33 vertebrae, which Christ was crucified at the age of 33. The crucifixion, it splits apart, it crucifies. And if you look up the term crucifixion, if you look up the ancient term, so you have to go into an etymology dictionary and look it up. It meant, it don't say level up, but to increase. That's what crucified means. That's what the plus symbol means, to increase. But they used it as a symbol of death by saying they pinned Christ on the cross and he died. But it actually means to increase. Think about a plus sign. It means to increase. So the fluid splitting apart and being crucified, it sets there for 3.5 days to increase before it rises up to the pineal gland. So this is where you get the 3-day resurrection story. So within 3.5 or 2.5 days, 2.5 days, or no, it's 2.5 days actually. 2.5 days, the oil will rise into the pineal gland, and you will become Christ, or Christ-like, or Christ consciousness. And that's not really Christ consciousness. It's the third eye opening process. It's the process, the physical process your body goes through to open the third eye. That's what it really is. But they call it Christ consciousness. But then you understand what the third eye is. It's scriptures in the Bible. When I do the lecture, I'm going to show you. When God said, when you open your eye, one eye, not plural, not eyes, but when he said you open your eye, and is explaining this process. But I'm going to break that down in the lecture. I didn't even know Tay fell off. Yeah, how long was I running my mouth before she fell off? I'm just a talking. Yep, that's why they say men have periods too. Yeah, it's it is like, believe it or not, you know, us men go through the same process as women do. We just don't have the equipment, so we don't bleed, but we still secrete the oil, the sacrum oil or the sacrum oil. We still secrete that. But yeah, this whole thing, and then when you're talking about the seed, like when I said the milk and honey, the land of the milk and honey, what that is when that fluid, when your CSF fluid, your cerebral spinal fluid, goes through the pineal gland, through the nerve, the pingala. When it goes through the pingala gland, through the pingala nerve, it turns it gold. And that's where you get the honey from. And when it goes to the ida, the nerve of the pituitary gland, that's when it turns white. You know, that's where you get the story of the milk and honey. And heaven is a higher level of thinking or higher level of consciousness. So when they say the land of the milk and honey, that's after you open your third eye, you're able to accept Christ, or you're able to accept God. You see things not just on a physical plane, but you have a spiritual, I don't want to say sin, but yeah, you have a deeper spiritual, deeper emotional connection to the Creator. But it's a physical process, then you got a spiritual process, then you got a mental process. And this is what the third, when you look on the back of your dollar, anytime you see that eye in the middle of the triangle, it's telling you, if you align all three of these points, if all three of these points connect, mind, body, and soul connect, it will awaken the third eye, or the all-seeing eye, or all-knowing, or it's just a level of consciousness, the way you will perceive things. That's what the third eye is. But it is a process. It's a level of being. I'm not even going to say consciousness. It's a level of being. You know, everybody say, I got my third eye open. You don't. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just telling you the truth. I believe some people are born with it activated, but a lot of people not. But it's something people can't obtain. You can tell even from a child, if a child's third eye is open, they just look at the world different. They're able to see things differently from, I guess if you want to say normal standards. They had a higher level of spirituality, even as a kid. They're more connected with nature, because why people are connected with nature. Y'all need to stop saying I'm not into nature, because if you believe in God, I don't care from what religion or what belief system, you have to understand God created everything. The divine oneness, everything has the energy or that internal spark. That's why even the Egyptians say, I pay homage to the animals. I pay homage to nature. They give thanks to it because it feeds us. Like even when you talk about alkaline foods, right? Even the foods have electric charges, So, and we will get into the biology, but we talk about even the cells, down. We're gonna talk about down to the cells. Tay said I gotta she said let loose. So yeah, we're gonna talk about a lot of different things on a deep level. But I'm gonna show y'all how everything is connected. As so within, so without. Even the story I'm telling y'all now about, Christ consciousness. You see the metaphysical aspect I just told you, but then you see the physical aspect, when they give you the stories and you read them literal. Even when they talk about the Garden of Eden, I'm gonna show you how that's really in your brain. I'm gonna show you something, but then you have to talk about the soul above, soul below, and you understand the feminine aspect. So it's actually two gardens. Well, men don't possess two gardens, but the women do. Yeah, two different gardens. So we'll talk about that. There's a lot of I'm not even gonna say science, but just a lot of understandings that explain the same thing. That's all it is. So people be afraid to look at one information because they think it's going to take away from another one, but it's not. Really, everyone is told from their perspective, but when you combine a lot of this stuff, then it starts making sense. It makes sense. And even talking about discernment, if you look up what intuition is a feeling that you get and you pass judgment without consciously thinking. And discernment is you making more of a spiritual judgment, right? While consciously thinking. So even in the definition, it's telling you they're different things, right? A lot of people correlate them. They say, I have discernment. They don't even know what discernment is. They're using intuition. They're going off how they feel. It's not about how you feel. It's combining the mind and the feeling and the heart, the mind and the soul to make judgments, to make decisions, to make choices, to even look at things and perspective, to create perspective. That's what discernment is a spiritual understanding or spiritual awareness of things. But to even get in that state, you have to combine the heart and the mind. And I gave you the formula for that, the why and the how. Why do you do things, how you do it. Your phone, stand in the grass without your shoes, and you'll understand what word is saying. Yeah, grounding. I do that. I'm teaching my son how to ground now. He ground every day when it ain't raining or cold outside. I take him outside grounding. I'm gonna teach my daughter at a younger age because she already mimicking our breathing exercises. We stand in the sun, get down low. I encourage him to hug trees. He don't like to. All this energy, man. And sometimes you can be feeling bad, and trees. If you be kind to a tree will let you discharge. A tree will take all the negative energy out of you. I promise you it will. Grounding helps too, but it's something different. Like I thought people was playing when they was like ask the tree for acceptance, and a tree is there to give. They get just as much as from us as we get from them. The trees. All plants, they grateful for us breathing around them because plants need CO2. We need oxygen. It's a fair exchange. So treat it nice. Pay homage to nature. Nature is what nurtures us. Without nature, we wouldn't have food. We wouldn't have shade. We wouldn't have shelter. Nature makes our life easy. They are alive, man. They are. And see, I promise you this too. The more you become at peace with nature, the more you feel complete, like at Zen, because that's just another connection That's the whole point when they talk about Christ consciousness. When they talk about the divine consciousness, the one consciousness. I apologize, not Christ consciousness, but the divine consciousness, the one consciousness, being in tune with everything, showing respect, paying homage, just being grateful, trying to live in that state. That's another philosophy I think I'm gonna put behind a paid wall. And the only reason I'm putting it behind paid wall because I'm gonna break the information down, and that's time and that's effort. I really do put into my shows. I mean, you can Google almost everything I'm saying, but you're not gonna get my perspective. It's a practice, I practice a lot of this stuff, so I see it a little different. I'm not gonna say a deeper understanding. I just get an alternate understanding, and I put it in ways where you can actually apply it yourself. But if we want to get into the medical, we want to get into the metaphysics, I can do all that. It's easy. I mean, I've been practicing and studying this for years, so it hit a little different. I ain't gonna get into all the spoofism, all the metaphors and allegories, but Tay was like, just give them all the information. So, yeah, we're gonna do that. We're gonna give y'all a lot of information. Yeah, the trees, the plants. Yeah, I mean, think about it. Nature, like I said, it nurtures us. So many different ways, so many different aspects. Even the animals, we hunt animals. Well, we used to. We used to hunt animals for food. Animals used to sustain us. We used their fur to keep us warm. I'm talking about necessities when we needed to do it. Not now. Now they just be on some other stuff. But back in the day, I mean, it was nature who nurtured us, who sustained us. We made blankets and everything out of fur. Now it's fashion, but back then we used that to survive, make it through harsh winter. So nature always took care of us. We got to take care of it. Fair exchange. That's how energy is supposed to. That's how you resonate or raise the level of consciousness of all. Is being in tune with all levels of consciousness, not just humans, but with nature. Even respecting the insects. Without the insect kingdom, I mean, we'd be screwed. Bugs, everything is vital to our survival. We got to pay respect to it, pay homage to it. You don't got to worship it, but you should pay respect. You should live in a state of gratitude. So even when we talking about aligning all three, our heart, to even open your heart chakra, you have to be grateful. You have to be accepted. So even that. Dee dee. Well, I'm gonna brag on my squad for a minute, because we doing some things. So, I can't tell you about that till I make the video. I thought I would have had the video done, but I went and seen my mama today. So yeah, we got some cool things coming up. Like I said, the Discord, that should be ready in a couple weeks, and that's gonna have different resources. A lot of stuff I talk about, I'm gonna put links to the books in there. If I can get the audio books, I'll get them and put them in there. I'm gonna definitely have some PDFs in there, and I'm gonna put some other resources in there. Some development. We go, a lot of stuff I talk about, not just on this channel, but my coaching channel too. I'm gonna implement a lot of, because that's gonna be a flagship for the 9. We gonna do some other stuff. I can't talk about the other stuff right now, but yeah, everything that you see is just I don't want to say a smaller version, but is gonna be done on a grander scale. So yeah, the Discord will be available to the public, but it's gonna be some things are gonna be behind the paid wall. Like I said, I don't know if I'm gonna use Patreon or the Discord, but I'm gonna start doing lectures and start talking about I'm gonna give you all the not just the meat and potatoes. I'm gonna give you the whole entree. I'm gonna give you all everything that I know about this and how I came to these conclusions. Because a lot of this stuff is my understanding. I use different resources, but it's still my understanding, the way I perceive it. So, but I'm gonna give you the resources, and that way you can get to the information your way. But I try to make it practical, make it useful where you can actually use it. We got 9 in the building. What up, 9? But yeah, so it's just interesting how when you start like researching, how you get different, but you gotta be open minded. You gotta look at everything, because like even all these everything I'm telling you, a lot of it came out of the book of Thomas and the book of Mary Magdalene about the Christ oil. It was told in those. The book of Mary Magdalene and the book of Thomas. Then they got the apocryphal text, right? These are Gnostic beliefs, and if you don't know who the Gnostics are, they were Christian based. They just had a more metaphysical, spiritual understanding, and they didn't believe the God of the Bible. They believe the God of the Bible is the devil, and Jesus Christ came to show us the right way. Came to, save us. That's what the Gnostics believe, but they don't believe he was a physical person. They believe that he was a spiritual being. It was a level of consciousness. I don't like some Gnostic texts. Most Gnostic texts don't believe he did all the miracles and stuff like that, but they believe it was a level of consciousness. Miss Queen, what up, though? Appreciate you, sis. Appreciate you. Man, you was reading them cards. It's like, yeah, the cards be nosy. Man, y'all gotta go check out Miss Queen. She got another channel, her Hoodoo channel. She do tarot card readings. Definitely go over there and support sis. She got a good thing going over there. She do personal readings too, so go over there and check her out. Inky, the Satan. Hold on. Is Inky the Satan in the garden? The snake in the garden. Yeah. Inky is the snake, not the Satan. So in Sumerian text, Satan, that was Enlil. Satan was like ruler or king in Sumerian text. So that's where they get the word Satan from. It's from Sumerian, but it didn't mean devil. And then when they got into the Hebrew, it meant adversary. But when you go back and you talk about the Garden of Eden or Eden, the one who gave the humans knowledge in the garden was Enki. That's who gave the humans knowledge. And what he did was basically activated their third eye. What up, Kwani? Appreciate you. We go 0 to 9 real quick. Whole squad on some real. Appreciate that, Kwani, man. Appreciate that. Shout out to Kwani, man. Yeah, but Enki, Enki was considered the Satan of the garden. I mean, he was the serpent. Like when it goes from Sumerian text to the Canaanite, Enki would be the serpent in the garden. But the Satan of Eden, or the ruler of Eden, that was Enlil. He said the cards be doing what they want to do. Yeah, and see, I gotta. I'm probably gonna do a lecture on that too. I haven't did one on that one before, so I'm gonna have to write that from scratch. But I got a lot of notes, because you have to understand the Anunnaki. You have to understand the stories coming from each time period. You have to understand the Sumerian text, how it was translated. because they still don't know what the Sumerian text say, what they're using to decipher it, or what is it called? Not calligraphy. Is it corn-fired? I forgot the process they use to. I know the process. I just forgot the name of it. Hold on. I gotta look it up. So I'm gonna tell you the process. So what they did was, because they don't actually know what the Sumerian text says, but it was groups of people around the Sumerian at the time that translated it. So they know that language. So they basically took the translations of other people, like the stories told from other groups of people who had encounters or contact with the Sumerian, and retold the Sumerian story in their language. They took that and aligned it with the tablets. And that's how they figured it out. So they can't actually read. I don't like the word. It's not deciphered. Cuneiform. That's the name of it. Cuneiform. So if you look up the term cuneiform, CUNEIFORM, you'll see what I'm talking about. So when they translate a language from cuneiform, what they do is, because they don't actually have, like, even when they say they use the Rosetta Stone, the Rosetta Stone showed like a script in one language, then show the script in another language, and another language, and another language. That's how they know what this says, because they know what this language says. So they use in one language to break down another language, but they don't actually have anything to use to break down the Sumerian language, but translations, and they correlated the stories. So when you're reading that, this is the problem with that, because like when you're looking at the Sumerian stories, you're looking at most of it from a Babylonian, an Akkadian, an Assyrian, a Mesopotamian. You're looking at it from, so you'll see like it would be one god upheld in one aspect. Like from the Babylonians were into Enlil. Now you get down to the Mesopotamians and the Assyrians, they was rocking with Marduk, and Marduk was Enki's son. But then when you look at the Sumerian story, Anu or Tiamat was the mother of Anu and Anu and Enki. But then when you get to the Babylonian, Anu was the father of Enlil and Enki. And then when you look at the Babylonian story, it was Enlil who slayed Tiamat. But when you get to the Assyrian story, it was Marduk who slayed Tiamat. So different periods of people in different time periods wrote the story that they narrated the story the way they needed to. And then, like, when you start looking at what was happening in that time period, you begin to understand, because eventually they went to monotheism. Now, everyone went through this at this time period, at the time of the Assyrians. This is where you get Zoroastrianism from. That's a Babylonian religion. This is where you get Marduk. Before Marduk, in the Anatomical story, there was a plethora of gods, right? But Marduk was like, nah, I'm the only God. So in the Bible, you have a plethora of gods. When they say, let us make man. When they knock down the Tower of Babel, let us, if you look in Hebrew, it's multiple translations where it says Elohim. Elohim is plural. There's more than one God. So even in there, it went to monotheism. Monotheism is just the worship of one God. So all these different spiritualities, religions, they all had what they call polytheism. They all had multiple gods, but in a certain time period, all those multiple gods got condensed down into one. So now you got one God over there. That's why they got all these ancient practices, spiritualities, or beliefs. It's a God over everything. A God over the land, the water, money, fertility. It's a God that represents almost every aspect of life. But when you get into like Christianity, it's one God. Or when you get into a certain time period, because most of them switched over to one God. Tiamat ain't nobody to play with it. Yeah, Tiamat. Rooted, what up, though? Driving and listening? Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. Yeah, but yeah, so that was so a lot of these stories, they correlate with each other. Like if you look at the time period, you'll see, well, you have to go to Gnostic texts to understand or know who Sophie is. But Sophie was like the primordial mother of everything, but then you got Ishtar, you got Isis, and then you got Mary, all different representations of the same thing in different time periods told by different people. But they all have similar stories, and some of them borrow from the other one. Like Esther, Ishtar, that's the crucifixion and resurrection. The story comes from that. That's the oldest crucifixion resurrection story. Being, I ain't gonna say crucified, but being put to death and then resurrected within 3 days. But all those stories were metaphysical stories to show what happened on the inside. So you got so above, so below. They say we have a galaxy or universe within, but the other aspect of that is so within, so without. Everything outside of yourself is a representation inside. Even think about it. When you're feeling bad inside, usually the physical representation is what's going to manifest. You're going to have a bad time outside. Usually you're in a bad mood and you start seeing all the bad stuff happening and you dwell in that. But when you feel good inside, even when the bad stuff happens, you overlook it because you're too busy feeling that joy. So the outside represents the inside. If you're feeling bad or bad things going on the outside, you need to check and see what's going on the inside. The outside world is a reflection of your inside. Everything outside of you is your own manifestation. The only thing you can manifest is the things that's within. What is the purpose of a God? Simplified. That's a good question. I mean, it's a lot of different purposes, but if you want to know, like, what is a personal benefit of God, or believing in God, or having a connection with God, understanding that you're more than what you are, or you're more than what you physically see, understanding that it's something bigger than you. You're a small part of something bigger. You can say for moral compass, some people need I don't want to say it like that, but some people need that fear, right? Or they won't do right. I guess I can say it like that. Some people, they don't have it at all. You can say God will judge me, but it's something that work for some people, knowing that it's something bigger and better than them that they have to answer to. That work for some people. Some people need that. They need that structure. But Even my understanding of God is, I mean, for me, it's just understanding that, the world is bigger than me. But the perception of God, the way people view God, that's a good question. But for me, it'll be a little different, because it's like I don't believe, like I have that connection. Oh yeah, to simplify, that's why they made one. To simplify, is that what you said? They created the one God over everything instead of having all these different gods. So if you need some milk, you have to pray to the milk God. You need some rain, you got to pray to the rain God. If you were sick, you got to pray to the God of healing. If you wanted to be in love, you have to pray to the love God. Yeah. So instead of that, they just say, hey, just pray to one God. You just need one. You don't need all these. All these are just a reflection of the one. It's just different aspects. Everything is just a different aspect of the one. Everything is broken down into fragments. So even the biblical gods or the higher beings are just a reflection of the main being. So if you think about it, like, think about a tier system, right? You got God, then you got the archangels, then you got the cherubim, then you got the regular angels, and then you got the humans. So but everything is a creation or a reflection of God. It's just tier systems, so it's more enlightened beings than what we are. We probably at the bottom of the barrel as human beings. We don't put ourselves at the bottom. Even when they talk about all these demigods, and it's all a reflection of the one. All broken down, experiencing on different levels, experiencing existence on different levels. But then, one see they stronger or more powerful than the other one and think they rule over that one. Like, nah, you don't supposed to rule over nobody. Yeah, you ain't supposed to rule over nobody. Yeah, just to simplify. I think but to me, like looking in that time period, it was just a level of consciousness. Level of consciousness shifted. Like we have more awareness. Like now, like think about it back then. If some aliens came down in a spacecraft and they had these big old lights and they had a flying disc, and you have nothing to associate that with or understand what that is, but what you have, them big old lights, they probably look like eyeballs to you. They probably look like eyes. You ain't never seen a flashlight before, so you never seen a light at all. So now you're seeing this circle thing with these lights on it. Oh, they look like eyes, and the circle thing look like a wheel. So it's a wheel with eyes on it. No, it's a saucer with lights on it. But as we advance, we have more things to associate things with. So now if we say like, oh no, that's an alien, that's a UFO, that's a flying saucer, that's a space. We know things can fly in the air now. That ain't no wheel. I know what that is. You see what I'm saying? So you wouldn't even say if something came down from the sky in the fiery disc, you'd be like, they crash landed. The flying saucer crashed. Back then they don't know what that is. They use the best of their recollection. The only thing they seen like that move similar to that is a wheel, a gear, but it looked more like a wheel. So that's what it is. And then when you get to these beings, they bright as whatever. They probably had lights or something on them. They probably had some type of shiny metal, and it blinded them. Think about when you shine light off of metal, it reflects. So that's probably why they couldn't look at them. It's not the fact they couldn't look at them; they just had no sunglasses back then. And the armor or the suits they was wearing was probably reflecting the sunlight. So these beings are big and bright. They get all this technology. They don't know what technology is back then, so now they doing miracles and having magic. When all along it's just some superior beings. If you go to a third world country and they have nothing, and you take a cell phone and they never seen it, and they see you doing all this stuff on the cell phone, looking at maps and videos and stuff, they will be like, "Oh man, they gods." They ain't never seen nothing like that before. They don't even know how to associate it or explain it. They don't know it's not magic, and that's how a lot of this stuff happened. It was just superior beings with more technology. Well, where are they at now? Man, ain't nobody coming down here fucking with us. We all screwed up. We warring with each other. What somebody want to come down here for? To rule and dominate us? We probably ain't even worth it. Because they know we gonna act a damn fool. That's like me becoming rich, going in one of the worst hoods ever. You'll never see me down there. Why would I go? When I get all this, what's down there that I can benefit from? What do you have to offer? People like, if it was aliens, they would have been came. Shit, who said they not here? Shit, you are the damn aliens. All these people acting weird and shit. It's aliens here. I don't care what nobody say. Because half of these people ain't human. The things they do, that's not human. Don't know humans do stuff like that. They're already here. Take D Shep for example. I'm just playing Shep. Shep ain't no alien. Yeah, but all this is but we gonna get into the metaphysics. We gonna get into we gonna break this stuff down, man. We'll have fun doing it because a lot of it, like I said, discernment, that's a level of consciousness. That's not something like, can you be born with it? Yeah, you can be born with your third eye open, but that's what discernment is. It's the process or the product of opening your third eye. You know, intuition and discernment is not the same thing. It's not. You know, everybody can say, "Oh, my discernment." Well, you ask them what it is. It's my spiritual judgment. It's me connecting or combining my conscious with my heart, using both of them to make a judgment, combining them. That's what discernment is: a spiritual understanding or spiritual indication or inkling or knowing something spiritually. But to do that, you have to combine the heart and the conscious. Not do so. So yeah, that's what discernment is. You would know when your third eye open. You just look at life different. You know, you just look at it different. You'll feel it though. You'll feel it. You when I say see it different, you can't go back. Once it's open, you ain't gonna be able to go back. You ain't gonna be able to see life the way you used to. It'll probably scare the shit out of you at first, but you'll adjust and you'll just understand things exist for a reason. You know, I used to wonder, why is this like this, or why is it like that, or why do people just accept things? Like I look at something like even this, like the N word, right? What benefits do you have saying it? How do you benefit from saying it when you know the word was created to degrade someone? And you can't say it give you power, because if it do, or if you taking power back or you using it, that's not true, because you wouldn't care who said it to you. Like, the way you rationalize things would be different. If it was an okay word, it shouldn't matter if anyone says it, right? If it was okay, if it was acceptable, then it's acceptable. That means anybody and everybody should say it, but that's not true. Because if any group of people besides the people who use it regularly say it, it's a problem, it's an issue. So it should be a problem or issue if anyone says it. That's how I look at it. That's why I don't use it. But people will try to justify, instead of saying, you know what, that's a bad habit, I need to break it. Because we was all indoctrinated. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong. You know, we all been bamboozled. You know, when they say born into a world of sin, sin is a level of consciousness also. It's the way you think. So you born into sin. You're born to think a certain way, to accept certain things. So you have to cleanse that sin with the primordial waters. That's the no man. It's so, but see, that's what I'm saying. Almost everything has multiple. Like you can talk from multiple perspectives because even like we was talking about baptism earlier. Now that was just more of a metaphysical aspect, but there's an occult aspect of baptism. You know, is a cult. We can talk about the historical aspect of Easter, but there is an occult understanding of Easter. You know, and occult is a form of metaphysics, if you want, if you will. It's just a different way of looking at it. It's a different science. Consciousness is the first preacher. Um, I I can understand that. You know, I can accept that. You know, consciousness is your first preacher. I look at consciousness as existence, as being. Um, to be conscious is to be aware. You know, now to be in the now. Everyone who living ain't conscious. You know, they not in the now. A lot of people in their past. There's more people in the future. Very few people reside in the now. But consciousness is. Uh, I like to say awareness because to be aware in the now is to see things as it is. You know, not how it should be, not how it could be, but how it is a level of awareness of being. You know, to be in the presence. To be in the now is to be in the presence of the Lord. I don't know if that's scripture, but my grandfather used to always say that. He used to always tell us, be in the now. That's how you be with God, is to be in the now. Yeah, but consciousness is just awareness, you know, just being aware of what's going on, what's happening. Um, but everybody living is not conscious. You know? Everybody living is not conscious. Some people, like I said, in the past, some people too far in the future, worrying about stuff, stressing about stuff, depressed about things. But yeah, consciousness, I can understand, I mean, that aspect of consciousness being your first preacher. But I think at times, I know I be making things sound so simple, or I try to make it non-philosophical, like obtainable, and being in the now, being in the presence of now, of nowness. Um, you can observe things for what they are, accept things for what they are, and you can take the proper action. You know, awareness, acceptance, and action. The AAA system. Go check that out. But yeah, being in the presence of the now. You know, because a lot of times we view things and we look at it how it should be, or we look at something to see how it could be instead of just accepting the beauty of what it is. You know, being in the now, enjoying the seconds, making use of the seconds. Because time is that thing we don't get back. We don't get back time. We don't get back time. Gary, I thought you would have been asleep. That's the only reason I didn't put the link in your thing. I thought you'd have been knocked out by now. Yeah, but I'm interested. I don't know if you want to come up, but I'm interested in hearing like your ideology behind, consciousness being your first preacher. I think I understand it, but I like how you break things down too. And I would even say, I can equate what you said to the super ego, right? Um, like your first guidance, your first guide, morals and values. Prayers, well, Prayers, if you want to come up, if you got an IG, bro, I can definitely send it to you. Yeah, Prayers, I need your IG because anytime y'all want to hit the link, just let me know. I drop the link because I know in this vertical it'd be hard. Like if I drop it in the chat, I don't know if anybody can hit it. So just to simplify, I just send it to people IG, and then I know they can hit the link. Mr. 33 himself, Gary Busted Down Brown, how you living?
I'm good. What's going on? I just stayed up for you, man. I knew you.
Man, I appreciate it, brother. Yeah, Tay wanted me to go in on the subject. I had a vision, man. I seen something, and it was just like, okay, let's raise the bar. Let's give some science. But I'm gonna do a lecture on this. I think you'll enjoy it.
I think it's needed because sometimes, we all have difference of opinions. But if we actually sit down and hear the conversation, listen to understand, we can get to a common ground, and then you can dissect even more, depict it even more, to where we all could come to one mutual agreement. You know what I mean? So, it's not about, I know people get tired of the religious talk and all that other stuff. But the fact of the matter is, like, Christ being Christ like is a divine, it's a divine will, right? If I don't care who you are, I don't care how you live it. And like I tell everybody before, you don't have to be Christian. You could be, an atheist can have the love of God in them. They just don't gotta, they don't have to recognize them. It sounds crazy, but if a Christian don't help a person across the street and an atheist wouldn't that look bad on a Christian? You're supposed to help your other living person. You understand what I'm saying? And same thing for a Muslim, and the same thing for a Hindi and a Buddhist. The fact that you can have a divine love, that's all Christ like love is divine. That's it. That's why, when I did the live of, the divine will versus the permissive, I broke it down like that. Divine is selfless, permissive is selfish. So that way you can have a clear understanding of what it is. Because just imagine whoever you pray to, right? Whatever you want to call him, right? Just imagine if he was selfish. If y'all believed Noah's Ark, nobody would have came back.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? That dove would have drowned because it had nowhere to land. You understand what I'm saying? So you got to understand that you're gonna have times of rage. You're gonna have times of anger and malice. You just can't let it conquer you. You know what I mean? As far as the conscience is your first preacher, right? When you're a little child, right? Your parents instill certain things in you, right? Listen, don't go to the store and get crazy. You see a bag of chips, you like, yo, I'm gonna take this bag of chips. And something inside of you is like, if you don't put them chips back, boy, you know what I mean? That's your conscience telling you, like, yo, right from wrong from the gate. Put it down. If you can't afford it, you don't need it right now. Go sit down somewhere. And that's what I mean by the conscience being your first preacher, because at the end of the day, you hear, and I don't want to say an innate voice, I would rather say you hear that tone in the voice that's not even verbally speaking to you. It's just a don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking around like, wait a minute, who's talking to me? I'm in the store by myself. Wait a minute. But that's just your conscience telling you, like, nah, we ain't got to go that route. Sit still. We're going to get that later. Don't worry about it. And it starts at an early age. It starts with home training.
Mm-hmm.
I remember we have a disagreement about me and you got a disagreement about the community versus the village. Even though we may mean it the same, your community aspect is a little bit better than the village, because the community it takes all. The village, it might take a couple of huts. You know what I mean? So, but going back to the conscious it's so crazy how much you can allow the conscious to grow as you get older. You know what I mean? I think that's why, that Jesus was one of those people. He could just be by himself because his conscience was feeding him so much. Because even when he left Egypt, when he came back home at 13, right? I ain't with y'all people. Y'all came and get me. I'm gonna leave again, and he left again. He understood that he had to feed his conscience, because at the end of the day, that's the only thing that was going to talk to him constantly to keep him straight. You know what I mean? And so when he went on his little journeys, to Tibet and Egypt and India, wherever else he went, he understood that all of these things had to take the conscience, and it had to grow within him. That's why I tell people, if you're grown, you can't grow, because once you grown, you stunt your own growth. It's over with. You can't grow anymore. That's why when we had these conversations, you got to have it with that open mind. You got to allow your conscience to be fed. Wait a minute, that can actually be true. Oh, wait a minute, maybe what I'm saying can actually be true. Let's put it to a test. That's why when you try a spirit, you got to understand a divine spirit will know a divine spirit. A negative spirit will know a negative spirit. You know what I mean? So when you had those type of conversation, it allows your conscience to grow. But your conscience actually grows from the day you're born. Like when your mama tell you don't touch the stove, you touch it. All right, now you got your hand on fire or your hand burnt. Your conscience like, well, not to do that no more. All right, we unlearned the lesson. Sometimes people got to learn through experiences. It's best that you learn through observation, so you'll put yourself in harm's way. But some of us have to go through that. So that's why the conscious is always going to be your first preacher. It's going to tell you don't do it. Then you might get another sign. I told you not to do it, but it ain't your conscience talking. Now it's being displayed in real life. Yo, I told you if you cross the street before that light turned green, that car gonna hit you. So we got to understand what the conscience really is. The conscience is just telling you, yo, listen, man, you ain't got to do that. Yo, stand still, hold up, be patient. But as soon as you do the opposite, there's gonna be another warning for you. So, that's what the conscience meant to me. Some people might not look at the conscience being that way. Some people might just say, that's that's just a thought telling you not to do it. But I'm telling you, no. Your conscience can actually stop you before you even do it. It could put your body at ease and hold. Stand still.
Have you ever heard of Siegfried Roy?
Siegfried Roy, yeah.
So he's like the grandfather of psychology. So he believed that the super ego, which contains our morals and values, our moral compass, begins to develop at the age of 5. So like what you're saying, I resonate with, even from that aspect, understanding. Now, that was the understanding that I got when you were saying, the consciousness is our first preacher, because there's a difference between, like you say, when you hear that little voice guiding you and when you got that feeling, that intuition. But is the level of consciousness rises when you're able to use the emotions, when you're able to use that feeling and that thought simultaneously. You know, that's where you get the Father and the Son. Becoming the whole spirit, you begin to function from a whole aspect, like your totality, both aspects of you. So even if you're looking at when we talk about duality, you know, you bringing those two aspects, the body combines them and balances them, and you manifest through the body. That's the 3 points. That's why it's like all sacred geometry is always, they show triangles. Because it represents duality, but people miss that third point, which is balance, which is manifestation. You bring in those, combining those two aspects and bringing it into one. That's why the triangle always got a point at the top or the bottom. Is those two corner pieces coming together into one point. That represents the mind, body, soul, and that's told many different ways.
Yeah, I agree with the Trinity aspect of the thing, right? Because at the end of the day, right, like try means three. So if you understand that part, you know, you got to say, you know what, 60, 60, 60, right? That's the sixes. See, I don't even want to touch the number 666 because that's just another aspect to the situation, right? But the fact of the matter is, you got to have that pinpoint. There's got to be something at the top, but there got to be something to hold the top up. So the two corners got to be angled at that 60-degree mark. Because if it ain't angled at the 60-degree mark, you know, you're gonna have one side, you're gonna have imbalance. So that's where the Trinity come in, right? So if your mind is working and your body's working, but your soul ain't working, you're gonna be off. And it goes all the way around the same way. So that's why, you know, I know we have a tendency of looking outside of the Trinity, but we have to understand that a Trinity is inside of us too. The mind, body, and soul must work in order to get to your highest point. Your mind, body, and soul must work just for you to hear the conscience of God talking to you anyway. You know, that's why a lot of people, you know, I did the fast for a reason. Because if you don't do the fast, you're not going to understand how much you have to put those three entities into one at the same time. You got to make it harmonious. That's like when I was told myself, my season is my season this year was going to be of harmony. So in order for it to work, I got to be harmonious with myself before I can be try to harmonize everybody else out here in the streets. You understand? That's like you going to tell somebody to clean their house and your house ain't clean at all.
And see, that's like, brother, that's so you see why I'm doing what I'm doing, or even saying, you know, this. I found someone else who was talking about this. I've never seen no one combined it until today, and I'm listening to her. I'm like, damn, that's wild, because we saying the same things, but it's like, man, I swear people be leaving stuff out on purpose. Like, you can't get me through A through S and not have the rest of the alphabet. Like, where's you got me A through S and then from S to Z? Like, nah, man, there's something missing right here. And they always do that, bro. Every time, like, people don't want to give out everything. And I try to tell people, like, look, it's a Trinity within you. You have to combine them. And that's why I gave you the whole Spirit instead of the Holy Spirit. They didn't told you this before. This ain't nothing new. I'm trying to show you. But every time I found somebody similar, they always leaving out. Do you know, think about this. Emotions are a part of us, right? Why ain't nobody ever really explain or break down what emotions are? Even emotional intelligence, don't break it down. When you study emotional intelligence, you know, you have some spiritual people who break down what emotions is, but they never correlate it or attach it to consciousness. And it's really is a component of us. Imagine if your car didn't have an engine. Is it a car? Like, nope. So you know what I'm saying? Yeah, the engine over there, but the car right here. Like, you got to put it together to make it work properly. And that's what we have to do. We have to align ourselves. We have to get those 3 points connected. And they knew this in the cult. That's why there's all this symbolism. People People be trying to tell you, like, people think when they do that third eye thing with their hand, they make the pyramid and look through it. I don't even know if they know all the information, but they telling you. They telling you where they at in life and why they're there is because they know. They know the connection. People hijack stuff and make and pervert it. Like, even like, you know, the upside down cross was a religious relic up until I think the 80s. All this time, the upside down cross. That was the cross of St. Peter. You know, Peter didn't want to get crucified like Jesus. He thought it was disrespectful, so he told him to hang him upside down. And up until the satanic church adopted it, it was a religious piece. People used to walk around with upside down crosses to pay respect to St. Peter.
It's just like the Star of David, right?
Mm-hmm.
People don't even understand what that thing is about.
Mm-hmm.
They just see triangle. They don't even see it as a triangle. It's two triangles.
Mm-hmm.
Like
oh man,
how do we not understand that?
Bro, I can break
I'm gonna
that
let you
shit
work
down.
on that, but yeah, I'm gonna let you break that down. But we gotta understand what it is. It's two triangles. It's divine trinity. That's what they're trying to tell you. You gotta be divine. Hey. You gotta be divinely orchestrated. You gotta be divinely balanced in order to understand what they're really trying to tell you. But because we're so separate and you know, they understand, like, there's other people that understand that a divided house will fall as long as you ain't got a sturdy foundation. So that's the way we gotta start rebuilding our foundations.
Man, it's have you ever heard of the Lionsgate portal?
I'm vaguely familiar with it. I gotta do some more studying of that.
Yeah, the Lionsgate portal. If you look at like modern or current understanding, you'll get the infinity sign, the 8, you know, shown on the side, which is the infinity sign. But if you look at the ancient understandings of the Lionsgate portal, you'll see the Star of David. And it's just representing two aspects. It's Hermetic though. That understanding comes from Hermetic studies. But yeah, so like the Star of David and what represented David. Bro, I'm telling you, man, it's like it's some deep, like this stuff is deep philosophical. Like that's why I say, like when I was studying this stuff, I'm looking like, and I left all this alone. You know why? Because I just tried. I understood it. You know, I mean, you can take all these metaphysical, all this religion, you can take all that and study it for years. But if you don't practice it, you'll never get to understand it. And when I start practicing, I'm like, hold on, man, this is like this because I was practicing. I practiced multiple spiritual systems, multiple religions, and I just kept saying correlations. Like, hold on, man, this is just totally different. This is this. And then I'm like, okay, if all this is the same, let's break it down. What is it actually doing? What is it actually for? Like, and bro, that's why I try to, and I'm not gonna lie to you. I think the easiest way they break it down is with psychology and science. That's the modern day of telling these stories. I'm just being real. Like even when we talk about God consciousness, I mean, they broke it down into science. You know, balancing your ego.
Yeah, I was about to say it's all about the you know, in the Bible they talk about renewing the mind, right? That's where it starts from the gate, right? Like you was talking about the baptism earlier, right? You and Jay was talking about that. And I was sitting there like, damn, I missed it. I had to catch the replay. But I was saying to myself, we got to understand the baptism was for the body, right? That's what it was for. The whole thing was the renewing of the mind, because nothing was spoken. Like, is a reason why you had to see the symbol of the dove when Jesus got baptized. Is a reason why the light shined. Is a reason why that's the only time you heard a voice saying, "This is my son, who I am well pleased." He was saying, like, yo, listen, Once you get this done, look, he understood he had to get the renewing of the mind. And what happened after that? He had to go and fast for 40 days. Now we got to go sit there and get the Trinity going before he gets to the final rest spot, which will be, the quote unquote crucifixion.
Mm-hmm.
Because now you're giving yourself away. In order to give yourself a way to be that martyr, you had to really sacrifice something. And the most thing that you sacrifice is yourself. That's why you was talking about how Martin and how Malcolm were divine beings, because they understood, like, yo, I know I ain't gonna make this thing. Like, people really don't understand. Like, Martin Luther King gave that last speech knowing it was a wrap for him.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't gonna see the mountaintop. Yeah, you ain't, because you understood somebody gonna take you out. And they failed the first time, and then they killed him in the hospital. I don't think people really know about that either, but I'm gonna leave that alone too. But
see, that's released in CIA document.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, because we so stuck on being fed the non-generic, the non-kosher food. When we get the kosher food, it's gonna taste different. Nah, that ain't really happened. Yes, it did happen. You understand what I'm saying? It's just like when you put the alkaline stuff in your body. You're so used to this acidic stuff. I don't want this. This tastes funny. You gotta adjust to the truth. You gotta adjust to what's really going on around you. People think you be going crazy when you talk about hug your trees. I'm like, no, I got a better one for you. If you go outside in the morning and you put your feet on that grass, you'll feel the electricity go through you. Excuse me.
And see, even that, bro. Do you know there's a sacred science to that? Like, when you look at ancient Egypt, when they talk about the three aspects of Ra, the three aspects of the sun, when it sunrise, sun peak, and sunset, all three aspects release different type of energy. And if you grounding at that time, you open into accepting. That was how they calculated. That's just one aspect, Atum, Amun, and Amen. Three aspects of Ra, three aspects of the sun. Sunrise, sun peak, and sunset. Like, man, like like when people really want to get into the information, like I said, it's so much. Like, people look at this stuff literally and not take the metaphysics out of it, not looking at the stories told, why the stories was told, how the stories was told. But that's where the benefit in that is the story. And people take it literal and don't understand the metaphysics or the spiritual aspect of it. And that's why we get stuck with belief and not knowing. Ain't nothing wrong with belief, but you get stuck on it. I think it's a process. I truly know, like, belief is not something that you're supposed to hold on to, but something you're supposed to develop into knowing. Even the definition is to accept without knowing.
I was watching a video, maybe it was earlier today. It was right after you. Matter of fact, it was right after your live. And the guy was telling them, listen, do you know what belief is? Believing? He said, no, what is it? He said, belief is doubt. He said, wait, what? He said, yeah, belief is doubt. Let me show you how. He said, are you a white man? Do you believe you're a white man? He said, yeah, I believe I'm a white man. How you think you're a white man? He explained how you're a white man. So do you believe it or you know it? Belief is doubt. Knowing is absolute. And that's how we got to look at things now. When you believe, like, I believe in God. No, you got to know God.
Mm-hmm.
You got to know that God is with you. You have to know that God is in you. That's why even in my lives, I'm telling you, if you have the faith the size of a mustard seed, do you understand that you got a drop of God in you? Do you know how much more that can move more than the faith of mustard seed? You got to understand that.
And see, I even tell people with faith, right? You need faith, belief without faith. That's 100% doubt. Faith is the component that makes or fuels belief. But faith, I use faith to get to knowing. I have faith in something until I know it. But like what
It's
you
like
say, you got to know. There's a difference between believing in God and knowing. That's what I tell people when people be like, "Do you believe in God?" I'm like, "No, I know." And then they hear my explanation. Well, that's not belief. I know. There's a difference. I know. It's not belief, as I know. That's a whole different level of consciousness. Like I said, consciousness is simple awareness. Now think about that. When I say consciousness is awareness, right? So when I say believe is a different level of consciousness than knowing, is what you're aware of. So what you aware of, it creates more avenues. So if you believe something, you ain't gonna attack it like if you know it. Or you go walk with faith if you believe in God, or you go march with it if you know. That's how I look at it. I believe in God, yeah, I'm gonna walk. But if I know God, I'm gonna march. It's a different level of confidence, belief. Knowing gives you than belief because it's absolute. I know. So even though I can't see it, I know it's there. So I'm gonna keep moving. But if I can't see it and I just believe, I might hesitate. I might not go forward. I might stay stagnant. But knowing, oh no, I'm gonna go because it's there. I just can't see it, but I know it's there. So I'm gonna go. So it just instills a whole different level of confidence in the way you attack things. That's why I just said it's not beneficial for me to believe in anything. It's just don't benefit me. But
it's
I
just like
use it. My bad, go ahead.
it's just like the terminology faith without works is dead, right? If you have faith, if you have faith and you don't put it to work, you don't know if it's going to work. That's the belief. You're going back into belief, right? I don't think people understood what I just said. But
That was science,
as
brother.
long as because as long as you know it, you're gonna do it. If you believe it, it's gonna leave room for doubt, right? So if you know that chair got four legs, you're gonna sit in it knowing that it's gonna hold you up. Now, if you knew that chair, if it was missing a leg, you're not gonna sit there. Why? You don't believe it's not gonna work. It's gonna hold you steady. That's the difference between knowing, believing, and faith. Faith leads you to knowing. Because if you have that faith, like, I love you this much that I'm going to give you all my money, woman or man or whatever situation it is for the person, right? I look like it's like that little fall back thing. You see how many people don't fall back because they know they got doubt. If you put Mrs. Word, say Mrs. Word fall back, she gonna fall back. Why? Because she know you got her back. So she gonna do it. Like, I wish this nigga would let me fall. He know what's gonna happen if I fall. You understand what I'm saying? The fact that she knows, she's not going in there with the belief of knowing. No, she knows. She superseded the belief. She knows. We can't tell nobody their experiences with the God that they serve. Whether they understand it or not is another thing. But what they know is what they know. You can't tell somebody their experience. Just like nobody could tell you yours. And that's the difference between faith, believing, and knowing. Faith is the common ground between the two. Knowing is above faith. Believing is below faith.
And see, so like I say this to people, and I don't know, I guess it confuses them, but I know you will understand that. I don't trust anybody, right? But what I do is put faith in people. I just don't like the concept of trust. To me, it's like belief. I look at trust like belief. So I put faith in people, and I only put faith in the people who I feel deserve it, if that makes sense. But when I tell people that, like, I don't even trust my wife, I got faith. For me, faith is better than trust. is stronger. So if you get it from me, don't worry about the latter of it. You know, you got something greater because I know you will do right by me, or I just had faith you will do right by me. But that's the only people I give it to is the people who I feel earned it. So I don't just go around giving out anything. Trust, believe. I don't trust anybody, but I don't even deal with the concept. It's not the fact that I don't do it. It's like foreign to me. I don't even. It's not even within me to even deal with the concept itself. So I just use faith, and that goes to the people who earned it. But people don't be getting when I say that. But the way you just broke down faith, I know you can. I know you can comprehend what I'm saying.
I'm gonna try to do one better. I'm gonna try to simplify it for you. You said you don't trust, you have faith, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't trust your wife, you have faith in her, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is how you ask people. This is how you ask the chat, right? Chat. Can you trust somebody without loving them? Right? And then
Mm-hmm.
they'll answer the question. And then you say, okay, can you have faith in somebody without loving them?
Mm-hmm.
Then you might get a different answer. See, you can trust somebody without loving them. It's hard
Mm-hmm.
to be faithful to somebody that you don't love.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Like a slave is not faithful to its master. It's feared into his master.
Mm-hmm.
They understand there's a consequence to it. That's why you could take a blind leap of faith because you already know what's going to happen, or you truly understand and know what's going to happen. If you have trust in a person, you can doubt that. That's just like the belief and faith thing. One is stronger than the other. So
Mm-hmm.
your trust is not the same as your faith.
See, that's what I try to because even that I fall in like I have to live things, right? That's how I learn from everything. I live it, like I do it, I practice it. That's just how I learn. I have to put it. Um, I have to put it into work. So, like when you said trust always left out for me. So I'm like, I don't like the way this feels. Like when I trust someone because I'm a thinker, bro. Like I'm constantly my brain. Like my wife would be like, "What you thinking about?" She don't even ask me what's wrong. She asks me, "What am I thinking?" Because I will be lost. You'll be talking to me and I just zone out because I got a thought. I always been like that. But if I when I was trusting people, I was constantly thinking. But when I had faith in people, the word did something else. Like words create perception, creates anticipation. Words do so many different can have so many different components. But when I use faith, the way I understood faith and used it, it was like, no, this feels better because I'm not worried about nothing. When I have faith in something, I just know they gonna do right by me. And if they show me otherwise, then I just take my faith back. But until they show me otherwise, I got faith. I don't question. That's like if when you hear me say I'm cool with people, like you, I'm cool with you. I got faith, and until you show me otherwise, now there's levels to that. There's levels how close or how much. But the more a person earns, the more, I give, you know. So that's how I do it. So when I say I'm cool with something, I just got faith people will do right by me because I'm gonna do right by them. Until they show me otherwise, then I'm I'm out. You know. Until they show me like, okay, you can't have faith in me, then I don't have faith in you. I mean, I keep faith in them and just keep it moving. I don't question things, and if I need clarity, I'm not afraid to ask. And if I ask, and if I don't get an answer, then I take my faith back. Okay, you don't deserve it. There's no ill will. People go do right by you if they choose to. You can't force nobody. That's what I tell people. Just because you got the fame, the fortune, or the money, whatever it is, right? If that's why people around you, that's why they're around you. When it's gone, then they gone.
Um, I was going to say something. Oh no, I know it. It's just like the respect thing, right? You know, a lot of people feel like respect is earned. I give it.
Mm-hmm.
I give it because it's for me. It's like giving you a rope to hang yourself with. But if you don't tug on it hard enough, it'll develop into something different. So out of respect, it comes it comes to admiration. From admiration, it becomes to liking, then love, then faithfulness, and all of these other things. It has room to grow. That's why when you know, I don't you be like, yeah, Gary, you keep talking about this improved thing, and I'm like, yeah, because at the end of the day, anything could change. But you've never heard of a negative connotation for improvement. There's nothing negative about improving. You can only get better at it. You know, even some people you like to say evolve, but people want to try to make evolving and they try to make it sound so bad now that they took all the good out of that words. You can't do that with improve. There's nothing negative out of improving. That's why I use improving, right? Because if you understand that, all right, I can change for the worse. You evolved into, so man evolved or devolved or whatever, into a monkey or whatever. No, it's called maturation. Improvement matures you into a certain thing. It's like growth. You can only get taller unless you going backwards and you shrink. But for the most part, when you improve, something in you elevates. Your mind elevates. Your heart elevates. Your senses elevate. You understand? Like it's just that word. But when you understand that everything must grow, you can put those things to the side and not look at it any other way but room for growth. And people have a problem with that. It's just like, you saying words have power. If the Bible told you God spoke words and things became to be, why wouldn't
Mm-hmm.
you think that the words that you speak gives life? That's why when intrinsic, when she does the affirmation, I'm like, yeah, you got to do that. I am, because that affirmation allows you to understand that you can speak life into yourself. When the Bible says, he says, I am, that's who you want to be. That's what you should strive for. I am this. I am great. I am powerful. I am understanding. I am loving. If you don't speak that, you can doubt your way out of a situation before the affirmation even kick in. So we have to understand what the words actually could do, and your tongue and words, if they work together, how much life it
Mm-hmm.
could bring into your life.
And I'll take you through it. I want to show you the affirm. Did I do it on here? I think I did it on the show one day, or maybe I did that in the chat with the girls. But I was showing
I think you did it. As a matter of fact, I think it was like maybe a week or two ago.
and I did the different affirmations that correlate with
Mm-hmm.
different chakra system. Yeah.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
now I'm telling you, like the well, words even carry frequency. So, um, like speaking things into existence. If you can resonate, you manifest regardless. Everything is manifested. Everything is created by will, thought, or action. So that in itself, using uh, words is descriptions of thoughts. Descriptions of what we're thinking. And I'm not gonna say all, but a lot of what we're thinking is an expression of what we're feeling. We just don't correlate it, and we have things separated and fighting. How our feelings go fight with our thoughts. They should be working together, not working against one another. People think and feel different ways. That shows you off balance. You got to feel it, and it goes different from the way you're thinking. You ain't aligned. One of them is telling the other one like you tripping. Look at it like that. One is telling the other one you tripping. If your thoughts and feelings are in conflict, that's one of them telling the other one like something is off. You have an internal conflict, literally. People don't
I just
focus on how they feel enough. People don't focus on it. But my bad, bro.
no, I was just gonna follow you by saying we don't focus on what we think is because we don't know how to control the emotions, like you said earlier. And because we don't know how to control our emotions, we don't know how to control ourselves the way that we need to, we're always going to be on a rocky road, so to speak. Because at the end of the day, if you don't have that balance to understand, you know what, I need to pull back or I need to go in, you're not going to be able to stand still and observe what's really going on. It's just like a person that hears to be combative. If you listen to understand, your question going back out will be more articulate than you understand. You don't have to debate because your question is going to come out better. Now, if you're hearing to respond, it's going to be confrontational because you didn't even understand what was being given to you. It's just like, when you have, the Bible says, you got to give babes the milk and until they get their teeth. I'm paraphrasing, but you understand what it is. Babies can't eat certain things until they get teeth, so they gotta have a bottle. So you gotta spoon feed them. Now, when that child is growing up, you can teach them what it needs. All right, let me use this utensil. Cut your meat.
Mm-hmm.
Eat your string beans. Now you can feed them more nourishment than just the breast milk that you got to give a babe. It's the same way in life. You got to understand. Your body needs to be fed every day. Your mind definitely needs to be fed every day. Because if you don't feed it, man, you're gonna have some extra stuff going on in your mind. Let alone start losing things. You know what I mean? You feed your brain junk, you might get that Alzheimer's, that dementia, because you ain't
Mm-hmm.
taking care of the brain. You gotta exercise the brain. The only way you can really exercise your brain is by continuing to learn. Don't be that old dog that don't want to learn new tricks. You stay in life as long as you understand that you can learn something new every day.
And man, I was about to add to what you said, but bro, you be dropping salt. Let me ask you. Oh my bad. Nate the Great is in the building. What up, Nate? Appreciate you. Hey, man, y'all go check out Nate Shorts, man. I'm addicted. I ain't gonna lie. I'm addicted to Nate Shorts. Is it Nate the Rooks? Who else? Mary B. I'm addicted to these shorts, man. I can go. I didn't see. I don't know if you get like recurrent views, but if they did between Nate and the Rook and Anti, oh my god, those like Anti shorts are so hilarious, man. Like if you want to raise your vibration, if you want to raise your frequency, go watch their shorts. You go laugh, you go giggle, you have a good time. Nate is a damn clown. That's my bro though. Nate is a damn clown. But I hear so like I hear the word emotional intelligence, right? And I didn't go to school to study it, but practicing it, like I didn't even like people when I was younger, people was like, oh, he got a high emotional intelligence. I'm like, what the hell that mean? I didn't know what it meant. I just understood like I understood how it feel to have these different emotions. So when I seen it in other people, I recognized it and I adjusted appropriately. Like I'm not one of the people like when people say I'm gonna give you the same energy you give me. I'm not one of those people. I'm not letting nobody alter the way I feel. I fight against that. So either I'm gonna bring the person to my level or I'm gonna get the hell away from them. You know, if people like angry and stuff, I had a way of calming people down, making them see and understand. Sometimes, not all the time, but I was able to relate to them. And when people, I did a show, I did a good show, I think, on emotional intelligence. I don't know if many people checked that out. But the way I broke it down, I simplified it, but I think I'm going to do another show and allow people to ask questions because it's easy to say one thing right? But it's harder to do. And emotional intelligence, that's literally an intellect. You know, it's an intelligence, it's a consciousness. It's something that's constantly practiced. Um, you know, people have seen me do it on this panel. I had trolls up here calling me the N word. Didn't upset me because I knew what emotion they were functioning from, and I knew where I was at. Now, it's days or times you can catch me when I'm in my emotion, and it's not the fact that I'm gonna match you, but I'm gonna give you the same thing you gave. I'm gonna give it back to you. I don't want it. It's yours. You take it. So you might see a little different side of me. You catch me in those states, but it's rare. You know, I'm still growing. I'm still learning. You know, even with death, right? My grandmother's died, and my grandmother was probably the closest person to me. You know, I was like my mother. So once she died, and the way I took that, I thought I can take anything. This is where, when you know too much, like you said, when you grown, you can't grow. So once I experienced that, I just figured anybody else who passed in my life is not gonna hurt as much. But I was wrong. When my cousin died, I didn't that I've never felt that before. Like that pain I just never felt. Like you really truly don't know what something means to you until you don't have it no more. And when he was gone, it was like I didn't realize like how much he meant to me. You know, that was like a pillar to me. Like it's things that he knew and didn't judge me upon that nobody knows. You know, so um like my darkest days, he always brought me back to the light. And it's like I don't have that. But I'm a better person than I was when I needed that. And because I experienced it, I still have it. You can't take an experience away. So he might not physically be here, but if I ever need him, he gonna be here. You know, I know that. So, um, but I'm not even fully over that, but I'm back to me. You know, the last couple, like if you know me, bro, the last couple months, like the last month and a half, I ain't been me. I ain't been me. It's been one thing after another thing after another thing, but I'm back. You know, I'm probably been at 85%, but I'm here. You know.
Well, let me say this, right? And this is not a shot at nobody, and I'm not going to toot your horn, right? I'm going to just say this. Your 85% is better than some people's 100%, right? Let me start right there, right? Second, shout out to Tay, right? I know she probably sleep or whatever, but when she did the life path numbers and all that, I didn't understand that. That's what made me ask you certain questions, like, all right, word. Something happened to you when you was 13. You was like, yeah, okay. Okay. And when did you find out that you was able to go ahead and go on your path? You said 33. And I'm like, okay, cool. Well, 30 to 33. And I'm like, yo, that's everything that Christ did, right? We got to understand, like, when you're not going to be accepted by your own one, right? And then, it's okay because even Jesus cried. He ain't no Lazarus like that. That was he, right? We hung out, we got to know each other, we became cool. But damn, that hurt when that man died. Jesus cried for him. You understand what I'm saying? So it's okay. Like we gotta understand that, we got 23 chromosomes from our mama, 23 from daddy. So sometimes we gotta let some of that out,
Mm-hmm.
right? We gotta stop this machismo and it ain't all right to cry. Nigga, it's okay to cry. It's in us. We listen, you got the good and the bad. Right. So we got to understand that too. Then we got to, like I said, we got to understand like Jesus wasn't loved by his own people either. That's why he had to get up out of there. That's why he had to scatter so much. People were trying to take him out. He did everything possible. The point I'm trying to make is that, it's okay to be human. Jesus was human being too. Everybody, y'all, Jesus was the Christ. Okay, cool. So y'all got to understand you're going to fall short sometime. You understand what I'm saying? You're not going to reach the pinnacle all the time. You're not going to reach the top all the time. You're going to fall short. Something's going to make you stumble. It is not because you didn't see it. It's just a part of nature. You're going to trip over something once in the blue moon. And this past, couple of months for you, you've been going through some things. You've been feeling a loss. The fact that, the fact that even with that situation you was having with a certain person, right? That was a loss for you. I understood that part. What I was trying to say is, everybody kept saying, no, you can't tell them to leave it alone. I'm saying, no, you leave it alone, because if you don't spark it, it can't ignite. It can't go into a flame. And if it does go into a flame, they're going to burn themselves more than you're going to get burned. Mm-hmm. You came out of your 33 because, that hurted you more, because like, yo, I'm physically watching you die in front of me. You understand what I'm saying? Like, yo, you killing yourself and over nothing. That hurts you more than putting somebody in the grave. I understood that part. That's why, I'm like, nah, my brother, let that go. Nah, you gotta let him speak. I understand I gotta let him speak, but he gotta understand why I'm saying it. Because if that person puts themselves away, they can't say you did nothing. So don't ignite the fire. Let it smolder out by itself, unless that person was gonna ignite the fire. That was all I was trying to say. But when you are who you are, you're gonna attract broken people. That's just the 33 in you word. You're gonna attract a lot of broken people because they understand if you feed them that information, you can heal them from their brokenness. What they do with it is not up to you or me or anybody else. What they do with it is what they do with it. All you can do is just display it for them. And because you have displayed it, the broken people are gonna come to you. The healed people are gonna say, yo, you tripping. The people that understand why you're doing it gonna say, all right, well, I understand why you're doing it. I don't think you should waste his time with this one, but you on your 33. That's already in you. You was born a 33. That's embedded in you. That's in your DNA. So the fact that you was going through what you was going through, you was just being tried. You was being tried without fasting. They were trying to break you down. The energies were trying to break you down. Through the dead, to those that are creating death around themselves. You got to understand that 33 got to prevail. And when you understood it, now you getting back to yourself. Like, I'm gonna do what they would want me to do. Those that I lost, I'm gonna be the me that they want me to be. And now you getting back to yourself. And that's just the best way to approach things like that.
Sugar Love, Pop, Bondi, appreciate y'all. Bro, you said so much. I'm humbled too, bro. I appreciate that, because I think you seen something that I don't think a lot of people seen, and it was a loss, But I'm gonna be honest with you too. If I wasn't going through what I was going through, I wouldn't even have took it that way. It wouldn't have had an impact on me, because I've been through it multiple times. Not, on here, but just in real life. Like situations like that I've been through. But I was weak at that point. Probably don't seem it to y'all, but I was like that. I was hurt. I was already in a state of pain. Losing my cousin. I ain't about to come on here and complain about nothing else, but just dealing with personal realities, right? It's levels. You accept one thing, but then it get worse, and now you got to learn how to accept that. Like, okay, it was bad before. I accepted it, found a way around it, but now it's getting worse. So you got to plan for that. Accept that. Then bam, my cousin died. Then the experience of my family. This is the first time my family's seen me like this. So I'm sensitive to energy, bro. I don't like everybody all concerned and oh, let me help you do this. Like, look, man, you didn't know I'm used to stumbling and fumbling and walking. I'm okay. I'm good. Like, I don't need help like this. Like, I'm straight, you know. Then everybody, like my cousin broke down. My cousin, a state trooper. I mean, he a cop, and he broke down, man, and that hurt my soul. Just understanding what he willing to do because of my pain. And I'm like, nah, bro, we'll never get to that point. We good. I'm straight, But I can't. If the shoes on the other, and when he said that, he was like, I already know what you would do if the shoe was on the other foot. I know you. I know what you would do. So how you gonna expect me not to feel this way? And it's like that hurt because it is nothing. I can show them that I'm straight. I can do all this, but they go feel the way they feel. So it's like I can't control that. I don't like things I can't make better. I'm so used to helping or correcting things, but it's some things in life you just can't do, and I don't like feeling like that. Like I can't do anything about it. No matter how strong I show them I am or any of this, they're not used to seeing me like this, and it fucked them up. And it's like I'm good though, bro. My life is good. I'm blessed. I got 2 beautiful kids. I got a wife. I get to spend an abundance amount of time with them. I'm not ripping and running no more. I'm not trying to, you know what I'm saying? It's like I got this, I met people on here, we building things. So it's just a different chapter in my life, but I'm not all, doom and gloom about it. But the people who know me and used to seeing me, it's like my cousin was like, man, he was a superhero to me. I'm looking like, man, that's crazy. It like, and to see him, like, I don't know. That just, I wasn't prepared for that. That's one thing I probably didn't even take in consideration. I never thought about that, how they go feel when they see me. I just thought they was going to be happy to see me. But I don't know, I just didn't take that into consideration. Because if I did, I could have prepared myself. But I literally did not. And I don't know why. Usually I ain't going to say think of everything, but I think a lot. And I never took that in consideration, how other people will feel when they see me until it happened. That's crazy.
I just think, when you go through a situation like that, right? Like you said, people going to see you in a different aspect. The one thing that we always forget, right? There's a trinity. You know how you speak about the good light and the dark light?
Mm-hmm.
It's the same way with the numbers. Tay always say, there's a right side of the 3 and the dark side of the 3, right? There's a good side of the Trinity and there's a bad side of the Trinity. Guess what's on that bad side? Death comes in 3, right? Mm-hmm. So for you was experiencing 3 different deaths at one time, right? Mm-hmm. And because you was experiencing that, and the fact that you couldn't do, you wanted them. This is how I know we're like, right? If we're not helping somebody, we'll get out of their way. Meaning, if we'll feel like if we're not helping, we're hindering, and if we're hindering, we're going to fall back. Yep. And that's just the way this thing goes, And when you feel like that, you like, yo, I'm gonna fall back. Nah, don't fall back. Nah, you doing it? No, I'm not, because I feel powerless. I feel like I can't do nothing to help you grow. And if I can't help you grow, if I can't make you feel better, what the hell am I around you for? And that's just how you was feeling at that particular time. You understand? Because hey, it like I said, you was going through a spiritual trial right then and there. Like, yo, I know I can handle myself physically, but right now I'm being tried so bad spiritually that it don't even make no sense. And so you sitting there, you trying to get yourself together, you trying to do everything right. Then you getting this other attack in the real world, and the YouTube streets, whatever, we intertwine in realities. And because you was intertwined in realities, everything hit you at one time. So it's okay for you to feel the way that you feel. We just glad that you got back on your feet, and now you can be that 33 that you have always been meant to be. You know what I mean?
And see, that's what That's why I came to the conclusion a long time ago. Just be consistent in what I do, because, like, just in the world, right? Just in the world, so many fucked up things happen to people that when you encounter people, you just expect bad things to happen. And I used to go through life trying to prove that I'm not this type of person, not that type of person. I'm not gonna hurt you. I ain't gonna backstab you. And then I just got to the point now where I'm like, look, if my actions don't speak louder than their thoughts, then it's just not meant to be. I can't jump through no hurdles. I'm not jumping through no hoops. I can't prove nothing to you. Only thing I can do is exist and be. And when I got to that point, I knew I had to limit my interactions with people, because regardless, some people just go be waiting for you to do the worst. That's just how they think. I can't change that. People anticipate, and then sometimes, and I'm just saying, like, in general psychology, if you look, it makes more sense when I break down emotional addiction, but sometimes people will be in a state that they will create a situation. Like you say, what do you say? Some people, paradise is living in chaos. If it's not happening, then they do something to make it happen. Or how they justify it is, well, I'm gonna test them, I'm gonna do this and see what happens. But even doing that, you have to realize you just induced a condition or a situation. If you do something to see how someone will react, you created that. So that's not a natural reaction from that person, because you created it. No matter how you look at it. Now, if you just allow a person to reveal themselves, let a person, just give it time. That's why I always say patience with people. Give it time. People will get comfortable and reveal who they are. And guess what? You don't have to do anything. Meaning, this is natural. This is organic. Now they're showing you, because you can create a condition and not take into account that person's trigger. And now you got this reaction that you wouldn't have got reaction from if they was never triggered. So that's why I don't test people, bro. I do not test people. Frankie Blanco's in the building. Young Riaz, what up, my brothers? Appreciate y'all. That's why I tell people, don't test people. Let people show you who they are. It's organic. It's natural. Now you can see people for who they are. But if you do something, you created a situation, an environment. You created a stimulant, and that stimulant has now caused something. Did you take, when you in a scientific, when you having doing a scientific observation, when you creating um, a, a test, right, and you put variables in there, you have to understand what those variables stimulate. Because if you create conditions for somebody, you can't cross a boundary and see what happens and be mad. People have triggers. We all have boundaries. Right. So if I trigger someone's boundary, I'm going to get this type of reaction. But you can't say that's what that person will do naturally. You can't say this is a person's behavior. You can't say this is a person's character, because you created it. And to me, that shows more about the person who testing the person than it shows the person being tested. Like, what kind of fucked up mind you got? You going around testing people? Who the hell is you? That's what I'll be thinking. People, I'm a test. I'm like, damn, why you even with them then? Why you, if you gotta test somebody, why you with them? You with the wrong person. You got that, again, you got that trust. You need that faith. There you go, Mr. McKinney. Mr. McKinney.
It just be like that though sometimes. People just want to keep testing. Listen, you don't need to know my testimony. You ain't got to test me like that.
Mm-hmm.
If my content is my character, we say that on here a lot. If your content is your character, you're supposed to be who you are. I don't gotta fake it till I make it. I don't gotta do none of that. If you don't believe I am who I am, just tell me. I can fall back, because I don't want to be labeled a liar. I don't want to be labeled as a falsified person. I don't want none of that. I'm trying to be the best me I can be. And if you can't see that, if you see anything but that, then I can't be around you. Not because I'm better than you. I don't want that depiction of me. I don't want to wear that as a jacket. So, that's why we got to continuously work on ourselves every day, as much as possible. That's why people need to continue to follow what you're saying. Follow the 9%, because at the end of the day, all y'all trying to do is try to show people there's another way, there's a better way. And it may not be the right way for everybody, but it's a better way for a lot more people than the way that everybody else has been going. So, that's why you got to constantly be who you are. I know we are a little bit off subject, but at the end of the day, you still a Christ-like person. You're 33. So that Christ-like entity is already embedded in you. Just continue to be who you are. We may stumble, we may fall, but you don't lose the fight if you get knocked down. You only lose the fight if you stay down. You know what I mean? So as long as you keep picking yourself up, man, you're gonna win. You're already a winner. The 9% is already a winner, because as long as they keep picking themselves up, they ain't got no choice but to get up. You know what I mean? So as long as you don't lay down, because that's not what y'all do, y'all good to go.
Yeah, we don't lay down. And you know what, brother? I appreciate that, because all we talking about is self-development. And even the information I give, I don't too much talk about religion or none of that. But when I do, I'm not coming from a belief standpoint. I'm giving you tangible things you can look at yourself. I will give you my perspective, my understanding from my studies. I will give you that. But I'm not forcing it down nobody's throat. I'm not saying you stupid if you don't believe me. It's been times where I had conversations where people came up, gave their opinion, I gave mine, and it wasn't no debate. If that's what they believe, that's what they believe. I'm not gonna fight with nobody about their beliefs. Is people use what they use to make them better people, and if they choose to hold on to something, that's what they do. I don't think they bad people. I don't think they dumb. It's just levels to everything. People know things I don't know. So I sit back and learn from them. I just look at things for what they are. I don't believe all men are created equal, because I can't observe that. What I observe is tall people, short people, fat people, skinny people. That's what I see. So all men aren't created equal. Everyone don't have the same starting point. Some people born rich, some people born poor. I don't believe in that equality. Equity don't exist. It sounds nice, but the reality is this. No matter where you started, you get what you put out. That's what you get. Some people go have a smooth selling, some people ain't. Some people go be rough, But at the end of the day, those are cards you dealt, and you got to make them do what it do. That's just the reality. Is it fair? I don't really believe in fairness. I don't see what's fair in life. Show me something that's fair in life. I just don't see it. I mean, it's a nice concept, but I don't believe. I look at things for what it is, bro. I'm in the now. I literally stay in the now. I don't go to the future. I don't really go to the past. I don't stay in those places. I exist in the now, and I just see things for what they are. And I mean, some things sound nice, some things look nice, but the reality is what exists. Well, what is this?
And saying that alone is where it's at. Life is where it's at. You can either add to it, subtract to it. You can either improve it or discredit it. The choice is of each and every individual.
Mm-hmm. That's a Confucius principle. I just don't see where the equality is. Ethan, right now I gotta change the title. We was talking about I don't know if you ever heard of the Christ oil. At the beginning of the show, I was talking about the Christ oil, and I'm gonna do a lecture on it. So I don't know if I'm gonna create a Patreon or if I'm just go do it through the Discord. But our Discord isn't public yet. There's some more resources I want to put in there. There's some more areas that I want to put in there. But I'm gonna do a lecture on it. It's probably gonna be a 2-hour lecture. It was like 2.5, almost 3 hours lecture back in 2009. But I'm gonna update the information a little bit. But in that, I'm gonna be breaking a lot of different things down. Your name is Brendel. Who has Snap? Because I'm looking for a new. Yo, Riaz, you got a Snapchat? Hey.
Riaz got Snapchat.
Dennis. Oh, I thought that said Denise. Oh, I don't think. Yeah. Oh, you're a girl, by the way. Yeah, Riaz might be interested. Yeah, Ethan. So that's what we was talking about. We was talking about the Christ oil, the metaphysical aspects, the anatomical aspects, how it secretes or how it's CSF, cerebral spinal fluid, and it passes through the pineal and the pituitary gland. When it does that, it goes through the nerve. It's a nerve called the pineal, and it's a nerve called the IDA. And when it passed through that, when it passed through the pineal nerve, it turns a gold color. When it passed through the eta nerve, it turns a white color. So this is where you get the land of milk and honey. Now, as it's descending down, it goes into what they call the solar plex or the manger, and that's where the seed of God is, which is the sun. The Christ seed. So once it goes down there, and Mary and Joseph, which is the representation of the fluid that comes from the pineal and from the pituitary gland, once it goes through the nerve, once those are combined, the sacred oil is produced in the sacrum, and it has to rise up 33 vertebrae, and then it splits, it becomes crucified. And it goes back into the nerve of the pineal and the pituitary gland for approximately 2.5, 3 days, and then is resurrected. The fluid is resurrected into the pineal gland. And if you know anything about the pineal gland, it's calcified, and once the fluid hits it, it resonates with the calcification, and your third eye is now open. So you can take that as the story of Christ. Or you can take it as a third eye awakening. Pineal. But that's what we're talking about.
Isn't pineal a muscle too?
Mm-mm. You're thinking of the well, it's pineal gland and a penile.
No, because if I'm not mistaken, when the trickster was fighting the angel, they pulled out the pineal in his leg or something like that.
Well, who?
When Joseph had to fight with the angel. Was it Joseph? No, it was Israel.
Oh, Israel. You talk about now
what they pull out of him. What muscle was that?
It's another so that story is metaphysical too.
No, but what I'm saying, wasn't that what they was trying to say the muscle was?
No, that was.
I'm gonna double check. I'm gonna hit you in the back chat. I'm gonna double check because I'm pretty sure I think that's what it was. I'm pretty sure that's what I think. I'll double check. But even if that was even if that was metaphysical, it was just trying to tell you that that's when he got his anointing. That's when the bloodline would go through him from that time being. That's what I just got out of that just now as you were speaking. That's why I asked the question. If I'm right, we're on the same page. That's crazy. But I'm gonna definitely check that. I know he had a fight with the angel and he pulled it out, and they said it was something pineal, something like that. A muscle. I'm like, wait, what? He pulled it out his leg. How do you do that? Okay, that's what y'all said. Oh. But I'm gonna double check that out. Matter of fact, I'm gonna do that in the morning. I'm gonna send it to you. If I'm right, I'm right. If I'm wrong, I'm gonna say, yo, I was wrong. But if I'm right, I'm gonna just send you the scripture itself.
I'm probably gonna look that up after this now.
Because I know he had a fight, and I know it. And then they named it. They named it something like that. They named that little area the same thing, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I'm gonna tell you, you got me mad. See what you do, where you make me do homework at 3 a.m.
And what is with the seed? Is that the obstruction? Is the seed? Is the portion about the seed? Because anytime I said this, they was like, "Well, where does the seed? Like the seed is that's metaphorical. It's not an actual seed. Right? It's more of the two oils coming together and creating. And when it's actually a fluid in your sacrum coxon that is produced, like they say, solar plex. Like this is why I say I'm gonna break it down in the lecture. I'm gonna show you because all these ancient they occult teachings. That's all it is. You get it from the Book of Thomas and the Book of Mary. That's where they get these. They combined it both stories from the Book of Thomas and the Book of Mary, and this is what they got. Or it was opposite. You know, the people who learned this wrote the Book of Thomas and Book of Mary, and this is how they explain it. Any way you want to go, but I didn't figure it out. Because there is a fluid that's in your sacrum coxon, the last vertebrae, and that's the seed. The blood-brain barrier is a layer of fluid that stops heavy metals or minerals from being deposited. Yeah, I know that. That's what I'm saying. Like when you say seed, it's not an actual seed. It's not an actual. It's a fluid. It's an oil. So it's not like a physical metal or seed going through you. It's your natural fluids that you produce. It's just like when they talk about semen retention, even the metaphysical aspect of that is that's what helps create the seed is retaining semen. That's why people talk about, semen retention. Semen retention, it's actually fluids. Is more than two fluids. It's 4 different fluids that create what we call the seed. And those fluids have to be, one of those fluids is said to be ionized. And this is why they talk about don't tip over the salt, right? And the only way it can be ionized if you if you do semen retention. So these are 4 sacred fluids that come together and make the seed, or activate. 2 of them make the seed, the other 2 like carries it. But the seed is not a seed; it's freaking fluid. So it's just fluid that your body produces. It's the combination and how you ionize or alkaline or energize the fluid. That's why your chakra systems have to be open for this to even occur. You know, it's not just one thing. That's why I said many different people got different pieces, and maybe they already had their chakra system open when they did this and didn't know that I need to have my chakra system open for this to work. They telling you from their perspective. You know, so even when you say the mind, body, and soul, you have to accept Christ. This is why they baptize you, renewal of your consciousness. You're accepting, you're allowing this to occur. You're agreeing, you're in agreement, because it won't occur, if you don't agree with it. You know,
Absolutely.
The whole process won't occur. And then you talk about the anatomical aspect, the physical aspect of all this stuff actually occurring in your body. And then, like I said, you got the acceptance, which is mental. You got to have the frequency. You know, the chakra system, that'll be the soul, the heart. You're aligning your soul. You open it. You know, so you got to have all 3 aspects happen for it to occur. This is where you get the trinity.
Listen, people got to understand this thing is real. Like, this conversation is needed. This conversation is valid, because you have to understand it's just not on the outside of you, it's on the inside of each and every one of us, right? We have a trinity within us. we gotta, as much as we wanna acknowledge that there is a Trinity, we have to acknowledge that the Trinity lives within us as well, mind, body, and soul. We got to get that all on one accord to become our better selves, to become our greater selves. And if we don't get to that point, we will still be our regular, normal selves. And some of us are stagnated at this present time. So we may be our stagnated selves. As long as we say stagnated, we're killing any possibility of greatness within us.
And what up, Dogma Free? Yeah, it's you might like it. I don't know. You might like it, bro. But do me a favor, y'all hit that like button. Semen retention comes from Kama Sutra. I can see if I can track it back further than that, but I would agree. Most people don't even know the Kama Sutra actually has 7 volumes. Kama Sutra is not just simply sex positions, but it actually teaches you how to court women. There's chapters in there about herbs. There's chapters in there about not only courting a woman, but becoming a husband and how to interact with women outside your marriage. It's a deep book. It's 7 volumes of it. Most people just stop at the sex positions, but it was written by men for men to understand how to better interact with women. But yeah, it's a good. I've been studying Kama Sutra since I think I was given this older woman I was dating when I think I was like 16 or 15. She gave me the Kama Sutra book, all 7 volumes. I didn't even know about the 6 positions. That's in volume 2, I believe. Second volume, I had 7 different books. Not one. It wasn't even in one book, and this was old. Like it was a present. But I learned so much out of that book, and it just, I don't know, man. It's just it's a deep book, and it makes, like, a lot of this stuff is profound, and it makes so much sense. By the Hindis as an instruction manual on how to enjoy sexual relationships. But see, it's just not, I promise you, it's just not, if you get the complete, not the Western edition, you have to get the complete 7-volume book. It teaches you how to court women too, teach you how to interact with women. It's not, it is about, it's about sex magic, basically. The different positions, I mean, it's pressure points in there. But it's also laws in there. Like one of them is literally, like, if you don't believe me, look it up yourself. There's one in there, and it plays more to women, actually, because it's like if a woman says stop, you got to stop. Or if a woman, if you bite a woman, she allowed to bite you a little harder. It kind of caters to women, like when you read it, but yeah, it's an instruction manual. He right about. I'm telling you, bro, it really do. It really do. It caters to women. If you read it, it's written by men how to court women. I mean, even as a chapter in there, it's saying, like, it's talking about how to compliment a woman outside your marriage. Like, it's a way to compliment them. Like, you can't be sexual, but you can still show appreciation, or I forget exactly how they word it, but they tell you, like, don't cross this boundary. They literally telling you that. There's an instruction manual. He right about that. It was written by men, though, because at that time women couldn't even read or write. So it's an instruction manual how to interact with women by men on all levels, an emotional level, spiritual level, and a physical level. So it's deep. Anatomy, in contrary to the church teaching, when it was discovered the first time the church tried to do was burn him as a heretic. Yeah, I would even go further, because if you look into Kemet or Egypt, they got surgical instruments and surgical tools, and they show, like, what y'all see as hieroglyphs are actually different aspects of the anatomy. Now, let me show you what I'm talking about. I don't even think I got it on my computer, but like, that's not it. If you look at my outro, they mapped the brain way before Da Vinci. The brain was already mapped. Here to go open the tab. Let me go see if I don't even know. I got it, but I'm about to get a desktop. So yeah, I appreciate everybody who donate. But yeah, don't stop, won't stop. Keep doing that because we get new equipment. Every dollar count. Every dollar count. I am funding this program out of my own pocket. So I appreciate all the donations. I'm not remonetized yet. We'll be doing that soon. We got to get ready for next month, but we will be getting remonetized next month. But okay, let me show you this. So, these was some bad mother. Shut your mouth. I'm just talking about the Kemites. So I don't know if y'all can see this, but I'm gonna put it on screen. So like even like when we talk about the temples, right? In the center, well, no, you can't see it. But if you look at the crown, right? The crown is showing the two hemispheres of the brain, but this is don't make me lie. But they're showing the system right here. This in the middle is your pineal gland. But even if you look at the animal that's representing the heads, that's wearing the headset, you can see, I don't know if you can see my screen, but you can see the stem of the brain represents the horn. So, I mean, the actual animal. So you got the crown portion representing the brain apart. I forget exactly what it is, but all 3 points is a little circle at the top, little circle at the bottom, and then the two temples, the two hemispheres of the brain. But they showing the enlightenment, how to get to this point. But they showing it through the brain. So they've been mapped all this stuff out. Even if you look at the all-seeing eye, it's just a representation of the pineal gland, the pituitary gland, and the hypothalamus. But all three of those portions represent different aspects of the teachings. That's why I say all this stuff is metaphysical. Like they talk about, oh, these were gods they worship. No, they were divine principles. They weren't even gods, bro. They wasn't. But that's a misinterpretation. These weren't gods. They were divine principles. They were deities. Deities, if you look at the ancient word of deity, is one who enlightens. So they created these deities to tell the stories. So people not looking at the stories, they looking at the God. But each, like, they put animal heads on human body to show the animal instinct, but to associate it with man. Again, anthropomorphism. This is how we associate and learn. The aspects of this animal is incorporated into this man. So they're showing you that you have animal instincts. You have the instinct like this. This is what this is. This is what that is. You have all these different aspects within you, but it's also in nature. It's so within, so without. So they're showing us like we actually, all these animals, their nature or their instinct of nature, the things they do, why they do it, we do that too. And they teaching us, this is why we do it. This is when we do it. This is how we do it. Look at nature. They show nature is perfect. They showing us how to do it. So when you go out and hunt, you watch a lion. It's fierce, it's fast, is accurate. But you know what it don't do? It don't kill unless it needs to eat. It don't kill unless it's protecting its property. So you can be all the fierceness about it, but be disciplined like it too. It don't go out and kill for fun. It don't go fucking with nobody. Even though it's the baddest thing on the land, it don't go bothering people. People be missing that aspect. Oh, I'm a lion. I'm this. I'm that. No, you ain't. You're a hyena. Hyenas go fucking around with people. Look at the nature of these animals. Hyenas go fucking with everything. You ain't a lion. You're a hyena. Look at the pack you need. Oh, you more hyena-like. You're not a lion, bro. So, yeah, nature teaches. But man, I ain't want to hold y'all on this long.
Yeah, I ain't know me coming up here will push it this long either. My bad, y'all. My bad. D Chef, I ain't mean to wake you up. Well, maybe I should have woke you up. I don't know. He said he was taking naps.
I'm on point. I appreciate that, dog. I appreciate. Hey, man, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We talk about a lot of good things over here. I mainly talk about self-development, but I have I don't even know what you call it. I can talk about a lot of different things, brother. So anything that elevates the level of consciousness, I'm into it. I was heavy into theology and spirituality, so I can talk about that. I'm heavy into psychology. I love talking about that. I mainly talk about behaviors and personality. I'm a life coach, so I'm all about self-development. Here at the Nine, we believe a better you is a better us. So the better we are individually, the better we are collectively. We can come together and get things done. I'm all about building, and when I say it, I do it. So y'all seeing that's what the Nine is, man. I done built this. Brother, you don't know, like when I I know sometimes like things be looking thrown together, but like this whole concept of the Nine, I worked on that for almost the ideology, the methodology, the symbolism, all that behind the 9%. I worked on that probably for like 8 months, man. Like when you start seeing how I'm unveiling the business plan, that's what people don't understand. Like that part of the Nine, that was done before I even hit live. I was supposed to do this with 4 other people. We was gonna call it Black Pillars. It was gonna be a little different, but it was all about self-development. Raising the level of consciousness. I had a media guy, I had a sound guy, I had my one homeboy. He had just graduated from Tennessee, is the HBU down in Tennessee, with his master's degree in business and administration. So he was coming, kicking a different side of things. He was the business guy. That's who wrote the business plan up. So we had different people. I was just me. I was the word, but that's what I brought. But this was already done, so now I'm just finding the right pieces. Like when people say a business plan, I already got a 5-year and a 10-year business plan. As far as the business aspect, this is not even a business aspect of it. This is just a vehicle. This is like us getting practice. So. Intimidate. 9% is a leave of extraordinary individual that decided to come. Look at Commander. That's my A. When I tell y'all, look, y'all be talking, y'all don't know. This is the general of the chat, the Minister of Defense for the Nine. Shout out to Commander. Various talents to raise the level of consciousness and promote self-development. Each has their own channel. I couldn't have said it no better. And we got a commander. So if you ain't got a commander down with y'all, nanny boo boo. If you ain't got a commander. You know why? Because without supporters, without people who believe and trust in us or have faith, I'm not even going to use the word trust. It's hard to do what we do, but when we got people around like Commander, it makes it easy. It really do. You got people like Gary, people like Riaz, people who support. Even Mr. McKinney been coming through dropping sauce, and that's what I appreciate, man. Look, even if y'all got a difference of opinion from me, as long as everything is respectful, we good. I am a very mature individual. Everything I say ain't gonna be right. I know that. I don't care how many times people say, "Oh, you smart and stuff." Look, I don't get too high and get too low. I'm not bigger than the program. I'm not gonna put myself bigger than the program. Never have, never will. That's not who I am. The program is bigger than me. That's why I'm doing it. And the information need to get out. So if you got some information, we need that sauce. What the sauce is. If y'all new over here, this is what the sauce is. Your inner wisdom that you share. I call that sauce. So when you come in here and dropping sauce, I appreciate it. If it's aligned with what I'm saying or if it's not, it's more than one way to skin a cat. So that's what we do. We seek solutions. And when you strategize, I don't do all that daydreaming and stuff, right? When I strategize, I need multiple points of entry. I need multiple ways to attack a problem. So always, always, always just be respectful and we good to go. We share, we build, we grow. That's what we do. You know, we do it through education, motivation, inspiration, and we're going to have fun while we're doing it. And that's the way of the nine. You know, that's the way. That's what we going to do. But I appreciate y'all. This was a dope conversation. Um, Emotional addiction. What's today? Thursday. I was supposed to do it tomorrow, but I'm not gonna be able to do it tomorrow. I don't even know. My wife she was off all this week, but she gotta work this weekend. So I probably can do it Saturday. But I got like 3 more. I'm gonna do that on a regular live. So it's not gonna be on the short shelf, it's not gonna be on the live feed because it's more of a presentation. Like I said, this will be turned into a lecture. I think I'm gonna turn emotional intelligence into a lecture. I can break that down for about an hour. Because, like I said, I hear people saying it, but it's a difference between saying it and doing it, and giving you ways where you can obtain practice and achieve, a higher level of emotional intelligence. I just think that'd be better for everyone because it's not just knowing yourself or being able to control your emotions, but being aware of other people and what level they're at. It's like a superpower. I promise you it is. You'll know when to engage and when not to, how to engage and how not to. Most of your interactions will be beneficial with people because you will understand who you can't interact with. That's the best part about emotional intelligence, right? It's not being able to interact with people, but knowing who you can and cannot interact with. You won't even waste your time. Everybody ain't for everybody. You'll have some cool people, and then you have some people that's not bad people. They just don't mesh with you. You just don't mesh with them. And there ain't nothing wrong with that. Everybody ain't for everybody. So we gonna talk about that. Those fables to parts of the brain. Oh, bro, I didn't even break it down yet. Wait till Oh, Chef, look, I promise you, this was footnotes. I promise you, this was footnotes. Bro, I'm going to talk about the Garden of Eden. We're going to talk about Bethlehem. We're going to talk about the Euphrates. We're going to talk about all this shit is within, bro. I'm going to show you. Like when I say I got a 2.5 hour lecture, bro, I'm going to break down scriptures in the Bible. I'm going to break it down from a Hindu aspect. We're going to talk about the Kundalini. We're going to talk about the chakras. Bro, I'm going to break this down to the atom. Trust me. I already did a 2.5, I think it was 3 hour lecture. And if I get the video, I might just upload that. If I get the video, I might just or we might just watch that. Might make it like a 2-part and we watch that video and then I just add to that. That's what I'm going to try to do. But I got to find, I don't even know where this dude at. I ain't talked to him in like 8 years. No, probably about 6 years. Yeah, I ain't talked to him since I've been married. Matter of fact, I think I talked to him a year before I got married. So I gotta find dude. But if I find, he probably on Facebook. But if I find him and get the video, definitely we gonna watch that because it was a dope lecture. I got paid for that one too. I think I made like $700 off of that lecture, and this was back in 2009. So yeah, I tore that up. And this is when, bro, this is when I was debating. So my energy gonna be different. If I get that video, my energy gonna be different talking about religion. I'm at peace with it now. Oh, but back then, bro, I was a religion killer. Like back then, bro, I'm telling you, like I ain't get the name Baby the Hootie for nothing, bro. I used to demolish. Like you come with any religion or spiritual system, I'm gonna eat it alive. Because it's just, I don't know, it's just the different angles. Like I disarm people in debates. Like I don't give you nowhere to go. If you don't know the language, then your whole theory is out the window. I used to just, like when people didn't understand, like I don't understand how you into a book and don't know the origins of the book. So when I start telling you the origins, like when you say, well, in Hebrew, this means that was never written in Hebrew. It was translated from Greek into Hebrew, but the original writing was in Hebrew for none of the New Testament. None of the New Testament was written in Hebrew. None of the New Testament in the King James book was written in Hebrew. It was translated to Hebrew from Greek, but it wasn't written. The oldest version of the New Testament you go find is the Masoretic text, which was found in Alexandria in Egypt. And that's all written in Greek. So all the books from the New Testament was originally written in Greek. Even if you look at the style, right? Even if you look at the style it was written in, it was in a poetic form. And that's the Greek style of writing. So now when we're talking about the New Testament and the translation of words from English to Greek, you got to go back further than that. And then you have to use books that's not in the Bible to show me the name Jesus. You can show me Messiah. You can show me all the titles that they use for Jesus, but you can't show me the name in the Old Testament. So I kind of disarmed one dude with that. Black Law Dictionary is a good source to know what the hell is going on around you. It's not, I wouldn't say a good source of entomology, because I believe it starts with, in Black Law, they really only talk about the Latin. They don't really talk about the Latin means, the Latin understanding of word. They don't go back into like Greek, or they don't go back into like Hebrew. But most of our laws is written, and I'm not gonna say it's maritime law, but most of our laws is, I forgot the name of the word, but the Latin. It refers to the Latin meaning of the word, not the English meaning. It uses an English word, but you have to look at the Latin origin of the word to understand the meaning. Like when you write up a mortgage contract, in Latin, mortgage means debt note. So that's how the contract was constructed. If you look at the average life of a human being, you're talking about 85 years. You look at the average mortgage is anywhere between 30 and 60. So it's literally a debt note or death note. Even hospital, hospice is a care center. It's not a healing center. So what do? They take care of you there. Yeah, but Black Law Dictionary, it'll help you understand, what is the word? It's on the tip of my tongue. It'll help you understand the difference between the law of the land and law of the sea. Yeah. Start at the tail. The letter J, there wasn't even vowels, bro. Like this is what people they'd be like, well, Jesus, they couldn't have called him Jesus because they couldn't have wrote it like that neither, because not only did you have the J, you had no vowels. There was no vowels until the Phoenician. They try to give it, but even the Greeks adopted the Phoenician alphabet. That's how the Greeks got an alphabet, because they adopted. So when you look it up in history, they say the Greeks were the first people with the alphabet, but when you keep reading it, it say they adopted it from the Phoenicians. So if they adopted it from the Phoenicians, how the hell was they the first people who had alphabet? How do you adopt something from somebody and you be the first to have it? Like, no, you took it from them. Oh man, this shit wild. Just the way they write stuff and the way people correlate that. I was arguing. I'm telling the guy, like, do you not comprehend? I understand it says the Greeks were the first, civilization using alphabets. I understand it says that. But if you keep reading, it said they adopted it from the Phoenicians, meaning someone was doing it prior to them and then they used it and they made it hot. That's like what Cassidy's tell Jay-Z. You made it a hot line, I made it a hot song. They just took it and did more with it. That's it. But they wasn't the first people. People, you can create something and somebody can recreate it better than you. But that don't take the fact away that you made it first. So And I had many discussions about war, peace, life, and death. I lost him a year ago and haven't had anybody to talk. Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that, brother. Hey, I never say, I can't replace nobody, but I'm open to a lot of conversations, especially, about philosophy, just in general. I be having open topic days where we talk, but I love talking about life, bro. Anything that can elevate my level of thinking, I enjoy talking about it. Philosophy. You can tell me something, like I like stuff. I know fun facts. I just know stupid stuff I shouldn't know. That's why shout out to Nine Lives. That's why I like Nine Lives. I learned some stuff about ants. I didn't, but I love nature. So, and I observe nature, and you can learn so much from nature. So, she gave me another perspective to look at when I look at ants. So I appreciate that. Shout out to Nine Lives. I believe either Nate or Brian's put me up on blacks. When I indulge, I smoke black and mild filter tips, the ones that look like cigarettes with filter. Yeah. 9 in the building. Shout out to the 9. Appreciate y'all. Yeah, but we 3 hours. We done did it again. Let me get my butt off here. Y'all be having me rocking and rolling, but I appreciate y'all. This was a great conversation. Hopefully I'll be back tomorrow. I'll be back soon with that emotional addiction, but I didn't even plan on staying here for an hour and a half. But my brother came up. We did a good build. Y'all rocking out in the chat. Mr. McKinney, you always know you're welcome in the chat. You're welcome to ask anything you want. I enjoy conversations. If you ever want the link, let me know. I'm gonna have to hit you up on IG though, because you can't click nothing on here. But you're more than welcome to hit the link. I love, intellectual conversation. So yeah, but yeah, we gonna end this one right here. We got the meat potato. We didn't even get to peanut butter patty time because we was deep in conversation. But y'all know what I always say: care about how you feel. These are the conversations to build nations. And if I said anything that resonated with you, do me a favor, hit that share button. Tell somebody. Help me spread the word. But until next time, we is out. Shout out to the Raptors.
You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain. Pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane. Pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test and expect nothing less, you check as I'm chess, what's happening next, yeah. He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson, he got a new engine from pain, that's a blessing. New focus, no guessing, just bold and obsession. All in his possession, you got their attention. I leave an impression and take a redemption, just kill no discretion. Your mind is a weapon, 11-11, it's time for progression. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, heard it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep on this evening. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try the chains, you can say no, free me. So he's been looking for somebody who could save him, instead of searching inside for what they gave him. A strong